Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, to Generations Behind, episode 27, our 1 year anniversary when this goes up. Pretty exciting. We made it 1 year, boys. Glad to be here with you today. Below me, I'm going to start with Tyler for once.
Oh,
Tyler, the luscious slut, how are you today?
doing pretty good. Had a long gaming session yesterday. We'll get into that later. And now I feel like I'm refreshed and ready to talk all about this game. Fresh in my mind. So
Hell yeah. Diagonal upright from Tyler, we have
no upright.
the beautiful, freshly showered Mr. Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm also refreshed. I'm fresh off of watching 3 long plays of Chrono Trigger in each region it was released in. I just kept watching long plays all the way through just to get a good handle of what this game's about.
And I am Craig of Craig's Game Room. I can never remember if I introduced myself or not anymore because I always skip myself. But that's who I am. And we are the Generations Behind boys. 1 year anniversary. On our first episode, we all were like, we never played Chrono Trigger. We suck. We're not real gamers. And now we're all real gamers, except for Zach, who watched the long play. So 2 out of 3, not too bad.
Several long plays.
I'll give it to you. 3 out of 3, real gamers. We all know. We all know what is considered peak JRPG goodness now. I just wanted to shout out you guys. You two. We got 4,990 listens within our first year. Pretty exciting for a small time show. Bunch of nobodies.
Very nice.
I'm gonna run it 10 times 10 times before this episode drops so we can hit 5,000.
Make sure we hit 5,000. I was like, we were almost there, but still proud of us. Thank you all out there for listening. We get a lot of the same people commenting, writing in. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, because even if nobody watched, I think we have too much fun doing the show. I think we'd probably do it anyway, but it's nice to know that some of you are out there listening, so thank you all. But yeah, today's episode, Chrono Trigger. Very excited to talk about it. We all kind of fell behind in our personal lives and had to binge the game like crazy this weekend to make sure we could get it done to talk about it. We didn't want to miss the date. Tyler especially, he'll have some stories to tell. But yeah, we'll be talking about Chrono Trigger. We'll be talking about some next 2 episodes from now. Episode topic's going to be underrated/overrated retro video games, so make sure you write in for the show on that one. Is Chrono Trigger underrated or overrated? I guess we'll talk about that a little bit today, probably not next week. Spoiler alert, I don't think any of us probably think it's underrated, but don't want to speak for the boys too much yet. And we do have one opening write-in I would like to go over from Jason. He says, "Hello, Jason here. It was nice to see Craig play the first 3 Mega Man games to see him play something he wouldn't normally play, even though he did use save states. Shame, shame. Now, as much as I love JRPGs as the next guy, I'd like to see you guys play more games that you normally wouldn't play and get your guys' opinions on those games." Yeah, I was happy to play the Mega Man games. I will, I'll be the first to admit I'm not a good enough gamer to play a lot of these old games without save states. And, probably with practice, persistence, I could. But there's so much stuff that I want to play out there that I don't want to play. I don't want to spend... I'm not a child in 1987. Like, I don't want to spend 3 months with Mega Man 2. There's other stuff I want to do. So it's like, if I could get to the boss stage and use a save state and not get a game over and have to do the whole stage again, I'm gonna do that for my own sanity.
A whole other skill set that like modern games don't have you learn, like just like this like dealing with bullshit like that and like redoing it over and over again. Like I feel like a lot of old games you play them for 20 hours even though they're a 2-hour game because you replay the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's how.
There's nothing more dehumanizing than when you look up like a long play for Castlevania 1 on NES and it's like 12 minutes and you're like, oh, yeah, this took me like hours and hours.
Yeah, how about this? Jason, because we already got the next 2 games picked out for game episodes, how about you give us a recommendation what to play? And then maybe we'll do it. I feel
By
like...
all means.
Do it?
By all means.
Maybe? I don't
Although
know,
only if Jason agrees to play FF7 Remake on the Switch 2. I want to see his thoughts.
Contract signed with blood between Zach and Jason. I do detest a little bit though saying wouldn't normally play. I feel like I play a good variety of stuff. I'm not just JRPGs. I actually feel like even though it's my favorite genre, I think it's what I play the least just because I don't have enough time.
But would you normally play a game like Mega Man though?
I don't know. I I've played a decent amount of like NES platformers and different things too. So maybe not ones that make me want to bash my head against the wall and end my life, but Mario's not that hard. Felix the Cat ain't that hard. Little Mermaid ain't that hard, but it's kind of in the same vein, 2D NES platformer. But I don't know. Maybe I need to broaden my horizons more than I think. But I feel like I play a good amount of stuff. I feel like we all do, though. Even though we all fall back on the almighty JRPG for the most part.
We need to do the PS3 Golden Axe. We need to do.
Oh God.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I want to import that. I don't know if I talked to you guys about this on our last episode. We talked about games, retro revivals we want, and I was like, Altered Beast never got a sequel, and there was a sequel on PS2, and it's one of the worst reviewed games of all time, but it didn't come out in North America. So now I feel obligated to find a way to play that and see how bad it actually is.
Craig's gonna play it, join the next episode, and be like, "It's underrated."
I am known for having terrible opinions, so that's entirely possible.
It's the whole point of an opinion, bro. You're good.
That they're bad?
Well, no, just that you can think what you want. Not that they're bad. I mean, I don't know.
It's fun to have bad opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It makes for good content. What can we say?
Like saying Mario 64 is better than Sonic Adventure. Like,
trash opinions.
Hate those people.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Mario 64 to be our next game-specific episode after this one, though. Especially since I already started playing it last night. I was telling the boys off camera. I started playing the 3DS port, which is phenomenal. It runs, they made it so the screen fits perfectly, so it's a little bit, it's like semi-wide screen. I don't know the exact dimensions of the 3DS, but it runs at a buttery 60 frames per second. It's excellent. Best way to play the game, if we're being honest.
Best way,
better
for
than
sure,
the Switch
yeah.
version. Definitely better than the Switch version. 4x3, get out of here. What fucking year is it? What year is it?
Yeah, definitely better than Mario 3D All Stars.
What's so good about the 3D All Stars version?
No, I'm being serious. I always want to play
Like you're
on
being
3DS.
sarcastic.
No.
They have, you could play it on your PC on like ultra wide and all this crazy stuff. They've really done everything with that game now. It's incredible.
I really want to. All these PC ports of like N64 games. I think I mentioned before. I really want to play that freaking Star Fox ultra widescreen, like
That does look really cool.
on a crazy wide monitor. It looks so awesome.
Mm-hmm. They've done that with the Zeldas, Mario. I think they've done it with Banjo. For some reason, Goemon was one of the first ones they did too. People really like the Mystical Ninja Goemon games. So I've been told that they're Zelda-like, which is interesting since they came out before Ocarina. At least the first one did on N64. So I kind of want to check it out.
I own them, but never played them.
I really want to check out too. Someone made a Mario Maker 64 on PC, and I've heard it's really cool where you can make Mario 64 levels. I've been wanting to check that out for a while too.
It'd be fun.
Shout out to the homebrew and hacking community. You're always smarter than I could ever be, making all these cool things I would want to check out. Uh-oh, I thought my audio cut out, but we are A-okay. So, I guess we can move on. Boys, what have we been playing? Tyler, why don't you go first? What have you been playing?
Chrono Trigger. That, and then I played, I don't think I talked about this last episode, but there's a Steam game that came out called Schedule 1. Zach and Craig see me play this. So, you pretty much, you start in this, like, RV. Somebody blows up your... Well, you're selling drugs, all right? That's the whole thing. And then, pretty much, you start in an RV. Somebody from the town blows up the RV because they're, like, the head honcho of that town. They don't want you doing that. So then you pretty much work from the bottom. You have this, like, little motel room, and then you pretty much got to, like, make enough money to sell. And then you get more places. You can buy a car. You eventually buy a factory. You buy workers. All this stuff. And, yeah, that's pretty much Schedule 1. That's been going around pretty popular on Steam, but
Drug selling
good,
simulator.
What? Yeah, essentially.
I've heard it's very fun.
The studio is actually called Tyler's Game Studio. When that booted up, I was like, "What?" And apparently, that's the only guy that made the whole game, Tyler. So, shout out to Tyler, I guess.
Shout out to Tyler.
But yeah, and then other than that, Chrono Trigger. Been playing that. Had to play the beginning twice.
R.I.P.
I'm just gonna say it now because Yeah, I was gonna play, as you all know, the Super Nintendo version, and so I started playing the Super Nintendo version. Got a couple of play sessions in, and then I went back to play it again, and my save data was gone, and I was like, "Oh, I what happened?" So, yeah, the save battery in the Chrono Trigger cartridge happened to die over that
Womp womp.
period of time. You know, it could have been any other time, but that period of time it died. So I had to restart the game. I bought it on Steam, and then, well, first I was trying to, get emulators, and then find like save data that was close to where I was, and that just wasn't working. So I was like, well, I'm just starting the whole game again. So then I had to play it on Steam, and then that's what made me fall behind. You could say generations behind if you want, but then, yeah. So then it entailed me playing, because what is this? We're recording on Sunday, Friday night. I beat Magus, and then Craig was like, "You're only at Magus, LOL," and I'm just like, "Oh man, I got a long grind session on Saturday." So from 10 a.m. to midnight, played the game, and I beat the game. But yeah,
that's awesome.
So we'll have my thoughts then. But
the SNES version, I'm assuming it didn't have those like anime cutscenes. Are those Steam exclusive, or are those on the SNES?
It's on Steam. I don't know if it's on the DS. Is it?
Yes, and then I believe it started on the PlayStation 1 port, if I'm correct.
Okay. So in a way, you got a cool. I like those cutscenes, so I would feel bad if you missed out on all those.
Yeah, they're fun. They're a little funny just because the cutscene happens and then you'll see it recreated in game with sprite work right after. Like you kind of watch the cutscene twice. But I did enjoy them. They were definitely really cool and really well done.
For sure.
It'd be perfect for an anime, as me and Craig talked about last night.
Yes.
Hell yeah, like a one season, just like quick to the point thing.
Kind of like the game. Zach, what have you been playing?
I'm still kind of juggling a dozen things at once, trying to finish. Basically, I've made a list. I've made a list of all the games I want to finish before the Switch 2 comes out, and then I'm just gonna drop everything like a rock. When the Switch 2 comes out.
Do some 14-hour gaming sessions. You'll get them done.
I need to do more 14-hour gaming sessions. But for the most part, really, just Chrono Trigger and Mario's Picross. Just still playing Mario's Picross like a madman.
How long is Mario's Picross?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to do all the puzzles. I'm probably like 7 or 8 hours in, but I'm not doing it like Christ. I'm not sitting down at the desk like grinding out 6 hours of Mario's Picross. I'm like playing it like 30 minutes here, 10 minutes here, that kind of thing. On the Switch, just whenever I have free time. So, I think I probably have a few hours left, a few hours of puzzles left ahead of me. Then I'll finish all those and be able to put it down. But really enjoying it.
Are we gonna do a Mario Picross episode one day?
I would love nothing more than to do a Mario's Picross episode.
Would you have enough to say to make a podcast out of it?
Shit. Maybe a bad podcast. I don't know if I have a whole good podcast. Our gaming out of it,
sections, the main topic's like 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
I feel like this happened at least once on this show, but it's fine. All right. Well, for me, I played through a little indie game called Merchant 64. I was very excited for this game, and I don't think it's for me. I did finish it. Only took me about 2 hours. It's a very short game. But the best way to describe it is if you were to play Animal Crossing, when you buy and sell turnips, like you buy them on Sunday, you sell them another day for more money. If that was an entire video game, was just that. It was just selling turnips in Animal Crossing.
Oh, the stock market.
Yeah, so if that sounds appealing to you, maybe you'll like it. It was a little too bare bones for me, and there was a lot of stuff that just didn't work. And I don't want to talk bad about the game too much because I think this is a solo dev project, but I will say, even problems aside, the game did get itself carried aesthetically because it looks like a really nice, cute N64 game. So the aesthetics are 10 out of 10. Love that. But the game just doesn't have a whole lot of substance. But if you enjoy kind of like, say, your mindless cookie clicker kind of games or whatever, you still might enjoy this because it's kind of just walking back and forth, selling things, buying things, hoping your stuff doesn't get robbed while you're sleeping, and then buying and selling more things. And that's about it. So, simple little game. And at the end of the day, it's also like, you can't complain too much. It's like a $3 or $4 game. So, super duper cheap. Good afternoon killer, so to say. Next up, the best game that's been released so far this year, the best game that will release this year, Croc: The Legend of the Gobbos remaster, all time great.
I gotta play that now.
Dude, I was so excited for this, unironically. A lot of people grew up with Spyro and Crash and all these things on PlayStation 1. Croc was my boy. I grew up with Croc on the PS1. And the game's hard as shit because it has the world's worst control scheme. It is a 3D platformer with tank controls. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, because it's not. But that made that game super difficult, and I could never beat it as a child. In the remaster, you can still play with these controls if you hate yourself. You still have that option. But they have, just regular 3D analog controls and a free moving camera, and it's just so much better. I had an absolute blast with it. Only took me about 6 hours to 100% the game. I'm sad there's no platinum trophy. That really bothers me, but it is what it is. So I didn't get all the trophies. There's one trophy I'm missing just because it's annoying, so I don't feel like doing it because I'm not going to get a platinum in the end anyway, so I'm like, what's the point of getting all the trophies regardless? Huh?
What's the trophy?
You have to do all of the boss stages without taking any damage, which isn't like impossibly hard. It's just annoying because you have to go through the whole level. Or not, it's like a short level and then a boss, and then while you're going through the short level, it's just really easy to get hit by like a fireball or an ice ball or a flying thing or whatever.
Dude.
So just a little annoying, but I was like, maybe I'll go back and do it eventually just to get 100%. But
speaking of trophies like that, dude, like the one time when I was playing like the Ben 10 new whatever power trip whatever for the PS4, I was like, oh, I like Ben 10, I'm gonna play it. There was a trophy for that, but like it was so buggy, like you'd get hit and you wouldn't get hit. That was frustrating.
It's the worst. But yeah, I really enjoyed Croc. It's nice to see, a childhood game of yours that is objectively not good come back and be great. Because like now I would say that this goes from like being like an okay game to like an excellent 3D platformer.
Nice.
It's short and sweet. The graphics are the graphical upgrade I think was fantastic because they pretty much just made it look like the promo material. So, like, it just kind of looks like all clean and squeaky, but it doesn't look, like, overly done. There's not crazy lighting or anything like that. It just looks prettied up and, like, not as crusty as PS1 could sometimes look. And you saw the option for that, too. I love when remasters do this. It has a dedicated button to switch between old and new graphics.
Oh,
That's
nice.
the thing. Love
How
shit
quick
like
is it?
that.
Is it instant switch?
Yeah, it's
Is it like an
instantaneous.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And
cool.
I like in the menu, too. Not really a reason to do this, but I think it's fun that you have the option to do old graphics for just the environments or just the characters, so you can mix the character models and the environments graphical style. So it's like you could have the new Croc model but with the old environments. And I'm like, I think that's kind of neat. I like having options like that. So
Now, maybe I'm getting in the weeds here, but do the enemies count as environment or as like Croc? Like if you switch on like old environment and new Croc, do the enemies have the new look also? Or are they
I think
the old...
so, if I remember right.
Okay.
Because I mostly played with the new graphical style. I only messed around with it a little bit, but I think it's all the character models. So like the enemies and stuff are all spruced up and new, and then the backgrounds would be
That's cool.
The bit more polygonal. But yeah, very very good. Had a great time with it.
Are you gonna get the physical?
I kind of want to, just because I kind of want to support this game as much as I can. I don't think it's selling super well, unfortunately, and I would love to get a Croc 2 remake eventually, because as a child, I played Croc 2, but I never owned it. My cousin had it, and I remember playing it for a little bit and being like, wow.
Well, let's be honest here. This game came out at a terrible time. It got
That's also
just
true.
devoured in the news cycle because it came out the day as the Switch 2 Direct, and then for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been nothing but Switch 2 positive, negative complaints, things we love. No one's talking about anything but that.
Yeah.
So
I will say the official Croc subreddit has like less than 1,000 members, so Croc is not a big fandom to begin with. But shout out to Argonaut Software on Twitter because they're very good about responding to everybody, and I think that's kind of fun that they do that. So
man, I kind of want to play it now too. Honestly,
you should. Like I said, 6 hours to 100%. You can't beat that because it's not. It has a fair bit of challenge, especially towards the end, but it's not nearly as hard as the original. The original is only super hard because of the bad control screen. Now that it has good controls, beautiful. Also, probably one of the best soundtracks on the PS1. It's so good. Croc music is amazing.
I just looked over at my PlayStation, like when I was picturing playing this, and I realized I turned my PlayStation on yesterday. I charged my Portal, and it's just been on for 24 hours. I just realized the TV's off and the PlayStation's still on.
Nice. There you go.
I should do something about that.
The Croc subreddit only got 504.
I'm telling you, they're not. Dude, the Croc subreddit is not rocking. They need more. We need more Croc
505
love.
now.
There you go. Real fan. I don't even think I joined it, to be fair, so I'm guilty. But I bought the game on release, so because it's $30, which I think is a fair price for what it is. It's a good solid game. They prettied it up. They made the controls better. You could tell a lot of work into like refining the way that Croc moves and controls, because it's pretty seamless now. I think that is excellent, and I just can't recommend it enough. It makes childhood me happy. So because I could never beat this game, and now it's in what I consider like a legitimately playable state. So,
Zach, I feel like you'd really enjoy this subreddit because the first post is here's my 100% long play video. Hope we get a Croc 2 remaster.
I'll check it out. Yeah, I'm not even gonna buy the game anymore. I'll just watch the video.
Yeah, just watch it. It's fine. But yeah, I think both of you guys would enjoy it. It's a very good, fun, cutesy romp. I will say, to this day, still the worst thing about Croc is the boss battles are the worst boss battles in any video game probably ever. Because they're all just run in a circle, wait till the boss stumbles, and then you hit him. And that's it for all bosses in the entire game. It's pretty goofy. But
one of my only PlayStation games from my childhood that does not have a cracked case.
Hell yeah.
Like a decent shape.
See, Croc was good enough to get a greatest hits.
Yeah, that's the thing that's funny is people act like Croc is like unknown or didn't sell well. If you look at sales numbers, it sold more than Banjo-Kazooie. So,
really?
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I guess the PS1 also sold like 4 times as many consoles or twice as many consoles. So,
let's do a fact check real quick. Make sure I'm not lying, but I remember seeing this once. When I look up Croc sales numbers, I get the shoe, so that doesn't help.
I was looking at the collector's edition last night. I was real tempted to pull the trigger on it. The little Croc statue and the soundtrack, and you get stickers. And
you want me to read the back of the original box for y'all while we're
do it.
Yes.
Help Croc, the crusading crocodile, rescue his peace-loving Gabo Islander friends from the grasp of the evil magician Baron Dante.
Baron
Six
Dante.
different 3D. What an awful name, Baron Dante. 6 different 3D worlds to explore, including volcanoes, forest, ice glaciers, and underwater caves, each with its own unique elements, terrifying monsters, and mind-boggling obstacles.
They are mind-boggling.
You've seen that picture? It's like the PS1 can produce mind-boggling effects.
Skeletons. It's the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out. I also think about, obviously, probably Mario from Mario 64 has like just the most iconic, just kind of like clips of like noises he makes throughout the game. For me, Croc is up there too with his little silly little kazoo. Yippee. Yeah. Love that shit. But I was playing Mario 64 last night, and obviously on the 3DS, laying in bed, getting ready to go to bed, and I just bumped into a wall, and you hear Mario go ooh, and my wife just starts cracking up. She's like, "What the fuck are you playing?" I'm like, Mario 64. She's like, "Why does he sound like that?" I don't know. I think Charles just literally ran into a wall and recorded it. So,
right, Charles,
the most convincing hit yourself in the face sound of all time.
If I made him at too many games this year, I gotta be like, "Can you reenact that?"
I wish I could be a fly in the wall for watching Charles Martinet do the Mario falling off a cliff. Like,
wow!
Just watching him get that original recording.
So good.
But it's so good.
I want to see him do a backwards long jump in real life.
Charles goes flying into space.
So I did fact check. It took until 2021 for Banjo-Kazooie to outsell Croc Legend of the Gobos, because Croc had sold 3 million units back in the day, and Banjo-Kazooie hit 3 million units sold in 2021.
But that's probably including like Xbox sales, I guess.
Yeah, it's including like Xbox and I don't know if it includes Rare Replay, different things like that. But
yeah, I don't know.
I'm about to say 2021. What?
Can you buy it on the Xbox? Just like buy Banjo-Kazooie?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you can still, but you could at one point. Because it was just like it was like an Xbox Live game that you could purchase on the 360 as well.
It's all about that nuts and bolts. You gotta get that Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
All about that nuts and bolts, baby. Real gaming hours here.
I was watching freaking Pete's Game Room stream last night when our buddy Christian was done streaming because he was doing like an eBay stream. And he was going through like promo items that sold, and there was a Banjo-Kazooie plush that was from the Nuts and Bolts. Yo, it looks so weird. Like,
it's already weird
or
looking.
Fever dream.
I was looking here inside my Croc, and it's advertising Croc 2 coming
Hell
spring
yeah.
of 1999.
Could you like the
foresight?
Era
they knew it was going to be a banger.
that era when we had games like announcing the sequel already when the game came out because of how like.
I guess this is also a greatest hit, so this is probably not the first print, right?
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
I want to know one of the freaks out there that played that game on the Sega Saturn. Where are you guys at? Nobody knows that Croc released on the Sega Saturn. My Saturn and Croc's heads at. Those are the kind of people I need to be associating with.
I keep forgetting if I own Croc on Saturn or Gex, and every time I look, it's Gex. So.
Gex is coming back too, baby.
Every time I look, I'm disappointed. It's just Gex.
I'm just like,
oh, Gex. Again?
like Mario running into a wall. Like,
ooh. God, yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Mario 64 is all the weird ass sound effects in that game. Like when you do the little teleport thing in Bob Mafia, it's like the where between the holes. And the thwomps making their big noises. I'm like, man, they really went hard with the sound effects in Mario 64. They're also iconic.
Speaking of Mario real quick, so like, now I do want to meet Charles Martinet this year at Too Many Games when he goes. What should I get signed? I don't know.
I have a signed copy of Sunshine.
Skyrim
would be great.
Okay. I'm not doing that.
He's part of that. You have to get it signed.
Can I have you sign 2 games for the price of one? Slipping Skyrim right there.
I wish I would have had him sign Skyrim if I knew, because at the time I was not aware of his game. I did not know that he was.
His signature's
so funny.
That's
what about
like
do you have like a box version of that Dragon Ball movie he was the villain in?
Oh yeah, superhero.
Is he? Is he superhero? Yeah.
I think I
Dragon Ball superhero.
I was contemplating Sunshine. But...
Did you ever see him at the red carpet for that movie where he wore the suit that his character wore in the movie, like an absolute baller?
Oh,
he just wore a 1-for-1 suit.
I gotta look that up.
I'm telling you, he's a real one.
I think I would just get Mario 64. I think I would just. Oh my God! What a fuck! Oh, let's go!
Yeah, I'm telling you, the drip is unreal.
Hell yeah!
He might be the coolest motherfucker alive. If we had to pick one person, it might be him.
Yeah. It's just this giant pink suit with a gold chain and a big white hat.
Oh,
it's incredible with his long hair.
Yeah.
The only price that they have listed is an autograph on an 8x10 photo is $80.
Oof.
So a game is probably going to be maybe like $10 more.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was.
Sure, that's probably going to be more.
I think I met him in like 2019 or 20. No, it wouldn't have been 2020. We were all dying then, so it was probably 2019. I don't remember how much it costed, but he was one of the nicest people like ever. He was super cool. So
yeah,
he has my player's choice copy of Super Mario Sunshine signed because I wasn't gonna have him sign my Black Label copy.
I wasn't gonna have him sign the good one.
Or
Thanks
my Mario
for your work.
64.
Here's my greatest hits copy.
You chump. All right, boys. Do we have any gaming pickups? I don't have anything, so Tyler looks like he wants to go. I got nothing.
Well, not really, because I had that mystery box, but I don't want to show everything and spoil my video.
Oh, fair.
So, yeah. Maybe I'll show it next episode, but the video is probably going to be out... I don't know, I'm probably going to edit it today, now that I finally have time, because I don't have to grind Chrono Trigger. Ooh. So, it'll definitely be out this week. Might even be up when this goes up on Monday. I could, release it at the same time or something.
Counter-programming.
Yeah, exactly. Because I shouted out the pod in it, so it'll make sense.
You're right. Okay, there you go.
You can watch that episode right now, Chrono Trigger. But yeah, so that's really all I got. I mean, I did get Pokemon cards, but that's all the way over there now, so that's sick.
You know what? I might as well show that off, because I showed you guys last weekend my beautiful Pokemon cards I literally found in my garage that had been there since I moved. Oh, yeah. So the Pokemon market has exploded a lot in the last couple of years. And I was going through my garage, me and my wife, because we had a flood when we moved in, so our garage is just a nightmare that we never finished going through. But we found, like, about $1,000 worth of Pokemon cards, just, like, in a box. All of these were... They're definitely not worth that much, because they're all raw dog, and none of them were even in sleeves, except for, like, 2 or 3 of them. But lots of Sylveons, the Mega Gardevoir, got the Gardevoir and Sylveon combo, Gardevoir and Sylveon combo, and then, of course, my beautiful childhood base set Charizard, which is kind of fun. And it's because it's like, even a base set Charizard that's like absolutely trash is still like $200, like $150 to $200. So I'm like, kind of fun that I still have that. I kind of want to send it in to get graded just to see what it gets, because that card sat in my desk drawer from childhood up until basically, last weekend. And I'm like, this is like never in a sleeve, never protected, always had shit thrown on top of it, always been thrown around. So I'm like, it's probably like a 1 if I'm lucky. So it'd be fun to get it graded just to see what it gets.
Man,
I wish I still had my childhood Blue Eyes White Dragon too, but you know what I did to that? I had a corkboard thing in my room as a child, and I took a thumbtack and pinned it to it, and I was like, I want this on display, it's cool.
Yeah, when you were showing
so I destroyed my childhood Blue Eyes.
When you were showing those cards off, it like makes me think how when the Level X cards first came out, I was like, I kind of like the EXs better, but honestly, those Level Xs kind of went hard.
No, they're cool. It's funny because those especially, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, I must have just pulled them at some point and never got rid of them because I had no memory of even having them. And then when I looked them up, I was like, oh, these are like $40-$50 a piece. What the hell? So,
dude, my collection is worth like crap. I gotta pull that out sometime.
And like the Mega Gardevoir EX is like, I pulled that out of a pack a few years ago. That card was worthless. No one cared about it. Now it's like $100 and something card. I'm just like, what happened to Pokemon? Like I said, all these cards are definitely not worth what they're actually worth if they're in good condition, because they were all raw dogging in like a deck box, just like being in my flooded garage for a while. I'm glad they didn't get ruined when my garage flooded, so got lucky there at least. But shout out to Pokemon cards.
One of these weekends I gotta do what you said and just pull out my card to do a stream, just going through.
I think that'd be really fun to go through them all. That'd be an awesome stream.
Rig up like a top camera, and you can just like have your desk and you can like have them out on like a top-down view.
Speaking of good content ideas, shout out to your newest video, Zach. I meant to bring that up at the beginning of the episode. That was great. Your video on your Switch memories, that was a very good idea. That was very smart and very fun to watch.
It took me way longer than I thought. I was like, there's 900 of these?
My man was an
awesome idea.
Fortnite player, dude. He was grinding that, getting all the seasons, getting all the victory royales.
Fortnite is my most played game on the Switch. I hate to say it, but I have like 800 hours of playtime on the Switch version of Fortnite. Like running at 720, 30 frames per second.
Hell yeah.
But yeah.
Would you say that's your most played game ever, or is Minecraft number 1 still?
Oh no, not even close. Minecraft by a long shot, dude. I have on the Switch I have like 250 hours. On the PlayStation I have like 400 hours. On the Xbox 360 I have hundreds of hours, and then the original computer version I played. Like I probably have a couple thousand hours of Minecraft.
That's awesome.
Dude,
are you going to see the Minecraft movie?
I don't know, man. I thought like maybe if I was bored, but
it's not.
I don't want to deal with. I'm not saying. No, I'm not even worried about that anymore. I'm just seeing all these clips of like it's going viral. People going to like throwing popcorn and shit. Like I don't want to deal with that. Like I'm gonna go on like a Tuesday.
No one's there.
No, yeah.
So there's like 2 or 3 old people that get free tickets, nothing else to do.
What's that meme from what's it, Mad Men, with the guy he's sitting there like
he's like, it's Tuesday, theater, like
he's sitting there looking at the movie theater like
dude,
this.
My boy Don Draper.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, that's how I want to enjoy the movie. It's like
so like I went the day before the actual like release day or whatever, like the night of, and so there was no popcorn throwing. But then when that became
chicken jockeys.
No, I do have. Hold on.
I still haven't gone to the damn movie theater. Oh, I want to see your Grimace card. Please tell me you're pulling out the Grimace card.
No, I don't have that on me.
Damn it!
I got my chicken jockey cup.
Let's go. Oh my god, it's so ugly.
So they knew this was going to be like a thing. This whole chicken jockey thing.
There's a cup for every character. So like, well, not every character. But like this one, skeleton, wolf. Enderman. I was gonna get the Enderman, but then I seen this little guy and I was like, no, screw it. And now it's probably like the most popular one. But anyway,
Sutton went chicken jockey, and then he beat the person next to him to death.
But anyway, so last night I went downstairs and I seen my sister had a movie cup, and I was just like, "Oh, what'd you go see?" And she said Minecraft. I was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, a bunch of people got kicked out for throwing popcorn when they said chicken jockey." I was like, "Oh, it happened."
It's real. I will say.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, as funny as it is, don't do that. Anyone out there that's listening, it's fucked up. These poor people have to clean up after you.
Yeah, if it was like not causing an actual mess for people who have to work there, then yeah, it'd be one thing. But
because these people are cleaning up after themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that a couple of people
Like
talk about
Jonathan
the movie.
spilling popcorn all over the floor at Minecraft. All right, go ahead.
And I've heard that basically Jack Black's entire role is just to say Minecraft things like oh, that's a creeper, that's a chicken jockey, that's a this. That's like his entire
Flint and Steel.
Yeah, Flint and Steel. Yeah.
I swear I've seen the whole movie just through clips on TikTok already, so I don't really need to go. But
There's this one part.
I need to see it, but
There's this one part where they're like, it's like near the end. They're like, "All right, so we're gonna get together. We're gonna do this." He's like, "So we're gonna mine, and then we're gonna craft." He's like, "So we're gonna Minecraft," and then they're like, "All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3." You think they say Minecraft, but they all say something else. And then the one girl said it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we should say that 1, 2, 3 Minecraft." Like, and then
I will say, the fact that there's a shot of childhood Jack Black going, "Ever since I was a child, I yearned for the mines." I do think that is one of the funniest things ever. That kills me.
I feel like the biggest surprise to me was Stifler's mom being in the movie. Y'all know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Dude, when she popped, I was like, "What?"
I need to go to McDonald's and get the Grimace McDonald's Minecraft egg.
Dude, when I got that first try, I was like, "No way."
a little upset that you pulled that so quick, but
yeah, it looks like it has the potential to be good bad, like so terrible that it's entertaining, and I'm totally down for that. I love bad movies, so. And really, I'll go see any movie as long as I'm getting my big old thing of popcorn and soda. I'll gladly see anything. So.
My movie theater has stopped. My movie theater has stopped buttering the popcorn halfway up, so they're like, "No, we don't do that anymore." So they just do the top. So I go to the self butter station and inject 4 straws into my popcorn and then butter through the straws to get down to the bottom. If you don't let me do it, I'm gonna do my science project every time.
That man's thinking. All right.
He is that smart. I've always just been doing the dit and then the shake and then the dit and then the shake. But the straw, that's ingenious.
Stick the straw in there at a couple different angles. Fill up the straw with butter, then kind of swirl it around the bottom. And then throw away the straws you wasted and stare them in the eyes and tell them that this is because they wouldn't fill it up halfway for you.
They're like, 4 more turtles died because of your actions today.
Yeah, this is your fault, not mine.
You made me do this.
It's all your fault. Flint and Steel.
Flint and Steel. Well,
I do have one pickup.
Of course. Yes.
I have a couple things in the mail still coming, but I did get one thing. I got myself a Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Beautiful.
One of my favorite games growing up, and like most other Game Boy Advance games I had, the box has been ripped up and thrown in the trash 2 decades ago. So I was happy to recover that one for the shelf. I think I'm going to stop buying things. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I got to say, that was a great night, me and Craig making you spend money.
Yeah. So. That was fun. But I think I'm going to stop spending money now because I got to start saving up for the damn Switch 2 launch. So I think this is going to be
expensive.
This is the last thing I'm purchasing retro-wise, I think, until at least after the Switch 2 launch. But I do have a couple things in the mail, like Tyler alluded to. But I don't... Normally when I order things from Japan, it comes really quick. This one I ordered is not coming quick. And I have another one coming from Australia that's also not coming quick. And
what the hell?
I don't know how this works. It's a completely ignorant question here. If you order something from another country and then tariffs get put on after you order it, is there a customs fee to get the purchase shipped over? Am I going to pay more through eBay for some weird tariff thing between?
I don't think so, but
I don't know.
Isn't that how they work? That they're not paid at they're not paid at purchase. They're paid at port of entry. So when these things show up stateside, is there going to be some customs fee that goes to the eBay seller? that then goes to me? Like, how does that work?
I don't know if they could push that onto you,
Yeah, I think it would only be
especially if it's not coming from like an actual business or something.
Yeah.
But I'm not totally sure how it works. I mean,
Or,
I've bought so much stuff from Japan in the past, but that's kind of before all this stuff was going on, so I have no idea how it works now.
Yeah, so I bought it before, and then like now it still hasn't shown up. I'm like, is it like held up in some weird customs bullshit? Like I don't understand what's going on.
the packages are shipped though, right?
They shipped, but they don't. I don't have any tracking for the U.S. Postal Service.
I think you're probably all right.
So I just don't know how that works.
I don't know. All of you guys out there that are CFOs for companies, comment below and let us know everything you know about global trade. We would love to know.
Incredible if somehow one person who watches this is just some like executive
CFO of some crazy company.
Yeah, some Fortune 500 CEO or something like that. Just they're on to me.
Damn, then we really got to start a Patreon. Get some good donations in.
Yeah, a bunch of like regular donations, then one like $10,000 donation every month.
And his reward, we'll read his name at the end of the show.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler.
Sorry. Way to assume it's a man, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Real quick, shout out to Jason.
You got my ass right there.
Real quick, shout out to Jason for looking out for me for Sonic figures. He just sent me a picture of SBO and was like, "Do you have this one?" I was like, "Yes, I do." Shout out.
Look at that. I also do that for you. Why don't you ever shout me out, motherfucker?
Because you don't do it when we're recording. You're right here.
See? I'm sexist and you're an asshole.
Shout out to Craig for FaceTiming me when he finds Sonic things that I don't have. Which, if any of y'all know, Mephiles and Neo Metal Sonic are the only two modern ones I'm missing.
Neo Metal Sonic looks so cool.
Dude, I'm not sure what Mephiles looks like, but I'll keep an eye out.
Have you ever played Sonic Forces? Is that the one?
No, Mephiles and Sonic 06.
Oh, okay. Even worse.
Infinite, I got that one. Well, Mephiles' design is kind of cool, but dude, some of these skyrocketed. Like Super Shadow's going for $200 now. Jet's going for like $100 and everything. I got mine signed, so I don't care. But
wonder if Chaos is expensive. I wanted that one for so long, and you found it for me. I was so happy.
Oh yeah, I did. I was like,
Chaos is sick.
Right. There you go.
Chaos is goated.
All
right, Tyler, your final history lesson in the history of the show. Until we give it a few years and everyone forgets all the fun facts you've told us, then we can start over again.
Give it like 5 years, and we can bring in some new stuff. So, starting off, April 1st, 1994, is when a game none other than Super Metroid released on the Super Nintendo. Pretty good game. Day, huh? Yeah, April Fool's Day.
It's because that game's a joke. Just kidding, it's great.
To Zach, it's not number one. He said it's not even
close.
That's
true.
Third best 2D Metroid.
It's on record that Zach thinks Super Metroid sucks. So
those are my exact words. Bad game.
Your cat is crying.
The cat freaking like. See, even the cat's yelling at you, man. He's like Super Metroid.
He's like, "Fuck you, Super Metroid's great." My father has no taste.
In 2000, Nintendo released the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color in the U.S. That game was pretty fun. I always felt like a badass when I pulled out my Charizard.
I want to play that. I've always heard it's really fun.
The soundtrack too. I like it.
It's on Switch Online, right?
Yep. I played a good chunk of it. It's fun. It's a little slow, so if you can emulate it and like play with speed up, that might be better.
That's what the phone's for, baby.
Yeah, I would have played it more if it weren't so slow. I think is the main thing. But
yeah,
that's fair.
All right, here's a little trivia for you guys, I guess. So, 2002, Sony reduces the price of several PlayStation 2 game titles in the U.S., releasing them as greatest hits for $24.99 each. There's 4 of them. You guys know any of the 4 first greatest hits PS2 games?
Gran Turismo 3?
Yep.
Jak and Daxter?
No. You got...
Hot Shots Golf, one of them?
No. You got 2 involving vehicles, and then I never played this one, but I think it's like an RPG.
So is it a Twisted Metal thing? Is there a
Twist
Twisted
Metal
Metal in
Black.
there?
Twist Metal
Yeah.
Black.
Xenosaga Episode 3. Now, I'm pretty sure the first one did get greatest hits, though.
I think so.
But wouldn't be one of the first ones. I don't know. No idea, honestly.
Yeah. No.
All right. ATV Off-Road Fury. Shout out to Brendan. And Dark Cloud.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Dark Cloud. That's kind of a random mix of games to pick.
It was Brendan that liked Off-Road Fury, right? I think it was.
Yeah. We played it on the GameCube, I think.
I need to go back to Dark Cloud eventually. I talked about it and praised it a lot on this show, and then life happened. But Dark Cloud's pretty sick.
Then, April 5th, 2009 is when we were blessed with the downgrade that is the Nintendo DSi. In the US, has an SD memory card slot, thinner than the DS Lite, slightly larger dual screens, an Opera-based web browser, 2 cameras, but no Game Boy Advance cartridge slot for $169.
But
is that why you call it a downgrade? Because there's no Game Boy
I was gonna say,
slot?
DS games look so good on there. Like that's the best they'll ever look is playing it on a DSi.
We're back with my history lesson. April 6th. This one isn't too old, but I kind of want to throw it in here. 2012 is when Nintendo released Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo Wii in the US. What a time that was that like they were like, nah, nobody's gonna want this in the US, and the Project Rainfall thing, and then everybody was like, yeah, we want it, and now we got a whole bunch of Xenoblade over here. So
I want to go play those other 2 Project Rainfall games. That's like The Last Story and something else.
Pandora's Tower.
Pandora's Tower.
Dude,
Yeah,
that game's wild. Super weird.
And then April 8th, 2001 is when Nintendo released Dr. Mario 64 for the 64. Price is $30.
Wait, what year was that?
2001, April 8th.
So that was late.
Yeah.
That was...
April 9th, 2007 is when Nintendo released Super Paper Mario for the Nintendo Wii.
Underrated
Never
game.
played that one. Only ever played Thousand Year Door for Paper Mario. This one was kind of interesting, so I put this in here. Y'all will know why. April 10th, 1991. A Federal Trade Commission investigation of Nintendo is made public. The focus was on allegations of price fixing. It is announced that Nintendo had signed a consent decree agreeing to not fix prices or punish retailers who lower suggested prices. Nintendo agrees to mail out $5 coupons to buyers of Nintendo Entertainment Systems between June 1st, 1988 and December 30th, 1990 toward future Nintendo merchandise.
$5 coupons, huh?
Yeah, that went hard, dude.
Pretty badass.
And we'll get $5 coupons for buying $80 Mario Kart.
Those class action lawsuits really be hitting sometimes. You've been awarded 28 cents by Apple.
Spread the wealth, baby.
And then same day, April 10th, 2020, I brought this one in here. It's 2020.
Whoa.
It's not old, but this is a big day for this podcast because Square Enix released Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PlayStation 4 in the US.
Woo!
I had to throw that one in here.
Oh, Zach's busy. He's grabbing something.
Oh, he's getting something.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's grabbing Geek.
I bought the base version of the game, and then I played it for 2 hours, and I immediately went on and bought another deluxe version for myself, and then offloaded my base version to Brendan for $20. So he got the deal of a lifetime. He got to play this game for $20. But I got the cool box.
It's a pretty cool box.
In the beginning of lockdown too, huh?
Oh yeah, it was.
Sometimes.
Lockdown was great. I played Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy VII Remake. So good timing for those 2 games. But
Then April 13th, 1992 is when Nintendo released The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo. And then we got 2 last ones on April 14th. 2004, Microsoft released a special edition Xbox bundle with the Halo game in the US. System comes in a bright translucent green case. Yeah, Halo game, that's how it says. Yeah.
The Halo game.
Tyler's never beating the copy and paste allegations.
Nope, never.
The Halo game.
Translucent green case. And listen, I I had like no time before this
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
I used the
yeah,
bathroom,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when I did this.
Yeah, and you were late, so
Listen, God, these guys are dogging on me. Now where was I? Instead of the standard black, 200,000 are available, priced at $169. And then our last one, the final one that was on here, 2004. Nokia announces the N-Gage QD handheld video game system. The unit is a redesigned N-Gage, about 20% smaller, more comfortable use as a cell phone. The speaker and microphone are mounted on the front, and the multimedia card slot is located on the bottom edge. Bam.
I'm happy you got to end the last history.
Dude,
panel
it
with the
only
N-Gage.
fits. Only fits. When I seen that, I was like, it's perfect.
it was perfect. It was meant to be. This was meant to be the last history lesson. Before
But-
before we sadly have to let you go, Tyler.
I want to give one quick shout out. So this one it would be for our next podcast, but April 26th, 2014 was also a big day. I know it's coming up. We ain't gonna have a history lesson, so I'm gonna shout it out right now. That is the day that E.T. was unearthed from the
God damn it.
Alamogordo landfill in New Mexico, and that we discovered it wasn't a hoax, and people started selling destroyed copies of E.T. for lots of money on eBay.
So I do have an ET shout out just to play your game here. I don't know if y'all what YouTube content y'all enjoy, but I like to watch a lot of Giant Bomb. They have some good stuff, and they have a series they do weekly called Blight Club, where they get together and they play some of the worst games ever, and they pick a game for someone to play through the entirety of. And they did a Blightning round thing a couple weeks ago where they each play really short games, and one guy had to play ET, and that game is awful. You played it on an actual regular the actual hardware with the joystick. That game is terrible.
You could beat
but
that
it's
game
really
in
fun
like
to watch.
under a minute or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
the guy has since gone back to do speed runs, and he's like 10th on the leaderboard now, like a
That's
minute
awesome.
30 or something like that.
He embraced it.
The original video is like a couple hours long of just like the worst garbage you've seen in your life.
That's awesome.
It's really bad.
like at home, man. You gotta go home.
I know. Something a while ago, I was like, man, I'd love to have some Atari games under my belt. Like, I beat these games on the Atari 2600. And most Atari games you just can't really beat. They just kind of, they kind of either just like end in a way that feels so unceremonious that you feel like you didn't do anything, or they never end and they're just high score games. So I was like, I can't really beat Atari games.
Shout out to Kaboom.
Unfortunate.
Like Kaboom.
Kaboom?
Yeah, Kaboom.
Kaboom. Never heard of it.
Pretty sure it's called Kaboom. It's the one where you just like
You don't even know.
He drops bombs and then you just go back and forth and catch them. Shout out to Call of Duty Black Ops 2 when they had the Nuketown Easter egg to play the Atari games on the freaking sign. That's how I played it.
That's funny. Good old Call of Duty.
Back when we actually had like Easter eggs in the maps.
I don't know. I haven't played Call of Duty since Black Ops 1, so I'm a little behind.
Wow.
It's been a minute. But people still hang on to Nuketown, so at least I know I played Peak, since that's the one map that people still I hear people talk about to this day.
Because they still release it.
Do they still?
Every time Treyarch has a Call of Duty, they're like, all right, Nuketown.
And is everyone over it, or are they like, yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of just expected at this point.
I think it's a mixed bag. It's like everyone, you play Nuketown for a couple hours one night, and then you're like, okay, I've had my fill of just nonsense slop, just
and then like
dying every 3 seconds. Like
how back in the day, like everyone would get all excited because they would occasionally do like a Nuketown 24/7 on a weekend, but now it's just Nuketown 24/7 playlist. Like whenever you can go play whenever.
Yeah, it's just like a game mode. Yeah.
The fact it became its own game mode is kind of wild. It's telling, though. I mean, I remember back in the day, that's the only map me and my friends ever wanted to play on, so...
I mean, it's a classic map, but, you know, when it's in, like, 7 games, and, like, some people only want to play Nuketown, it's like, okay.
That's fair if you get over it.
Let's do something else.
Understandable. But this episode is not about Call of Duty, my friends.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we still got to get to the topic of the show.
I thought we were just talking here.
You're like, are we recording? Are we filming?
Filming this?
Oh, we're done.
I will say, I'll have to out you a little bit, Zach. One of the things I think is funniest is when we're talking, not on the show, and you're like, "Are you recording?" Like, I think you just kind of zone in and out sometimes. What's happening?
I'm barely here sometimes, man. Just.
Oh, I feel that. Yesterday Christian texted me. He said, "Why the hell do you have like 15 3DSs?" And I was like, "Who told you about that?" He was like, "Craig on Generations Behind." And I was like, "Podcast Craig and real Craig don't know each other. They're two different people." I turned on the camera and I turned it off, and I don't know what happened. It's all a blur.
Yeah, he's actually just vehemently racist off camera. He's just an awful person. Just a terrible, terrible person.
But I'm sexist on camera, so it evens out.
You're right. You're right.
I did assume the CFO was a man, and that was very wrong of me.
No, I've just giving you a hard time.
I was gonna say I'm definitely not racist. I feel like I shouldn't have to say it, but if I don't.
Yeah. Yes,
So thanks for putting me in a fucking position, Zach. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Anyway, let's talk about Chrono Trigger. Topic of the show, Chrono Trigger. We all played it. I'm not going to say we all loved it. I don't know their opinions yet. We've kind of not talked about it much really up until this point. We try to keep each other's opinions blind.
It was a 2 out of 10 on the thing.
That's true. He did say a 2 out of 10 earlier. So we'll see how he elaborates on that. But to give a bit of a rundown on Chrono Trigger, 1995 release game by Square, not Square Enix yet at the time. It released on, since then, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, DS, iOS, Android, and PC. I think that's all the platforms. I apologize if I'm missing any. Most famously known for having 3 of the greatest of all time. 3 GOATs worked on this game. We got Hironobu Sakaguchi, Yuji Horii, and Akira Toriyama. Working on Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Dragon Ball, respectively. 3 musical GOATs as well. Yasunori Matsuda, Nobuo Uematsu, and Norihiko Matsuda. Norihiko Matsuda hasn't worked on a lot. He worked on this, Front Mission, a couple of other little games here and there. He doesn't have a huge list. But Yasunori Matsuda, I thought of you, Zach. He's worked on a lot of Xenoblade, so he's known more in days for that. And then Nobuo Uematsu, obviously one of the most famous video game composers of all time, worked on a majority of the Final Fantasy games up until, I think, 12 was when he dipped. Maybe 10, I'm not totally sure. But obviously some of the greats in video game and anime and just kind of like JRPG world history came together to work on this game. And I think that it shows with the quality of the game. This game is often considered the best JRPG of all time. So, let's make that the big sticking talking point to start this out. Is this the best JRPG of all time? Tyler.
Oh, you put me on the spot first?
Do you think this is the best JRPG ever made?
Man, I would definitely say it's up there. But I don't know if it would be my number specifically. I don't know. I had to think more about it.
We're living in a post-Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga world here, so, I mean...
Zach, is this the best JRPG ever made?
I think in 1995 it was. I think in 1995 this is probably the...
I could go for that.
It probably has the reputation it has because it is an incredible game, and it came out 30 years ago, and I'm sure it just blew people's minds back then. But.
Yeah, I will say, not my favorite, but I think if you want to be, technical, I think you could make the argument that this is like the perfect JRPG. That it probably is technically the best JRPG ever made, even if it's not your favorite or my favorite or one of our favorites. I think you could make that argument that it's technically the best one. Just like how you could make the argument that Super Mario World is probably just the best video game ever made, period. Might not be your favorite, but it's pretty much perfect. At least that's how I feel about it.
The goal it was setting to accomplish, it did that extremely well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost a hard game to talk about because there's a lot to say, and I feel like so much has already been said. I don't know how you guys want to approach it. I wrote down a bunch of stuff that I wanted to mention. I don't know if maybe we should just do our usual start with some likes, maybe go into dislikes after that. Tyler, what's some of the stuff you really liked about Chrono Trigger?
I really liked how all the characters were pretty much like unique in their own way, and you pretty much got new party members up until pretty close to the end of the game, which was cool. The last one was kind of a surprise to me because I didn't know the full cast and like
Oh
who
yeah,
you all got.
I guess for anyone out there, full spoilers for this. We're not holding anything back for the most part, so we're gonna talk everything and everything. I'm with you. Absolutely love the cast. I had one of the few issues I've never had this issue in another JRPG actually, where I'm like I couldn't decide on the party I wanted. Like I liked everybody enough, man. And it's like everybody. No character's bad. Even like. I don't think any character is bad in this game. I think that they're all useful. And even if they're weak on their own, like I would argue, I don't know how you guys say her name, but I think it's Marl is how I say it.
I'm saying Meryl.
It's like she's kind of weak on her own, but once you combine her with everybody else, like her double and triple techs are fucking banging. So it's like I don't think there's a single bad character in this game. I will say I never used Magus once though because he betrayed my boy Glenn and I couldn't let it go. Even if Frog could forgive him, I could not forgive him. So I never used Magus once.
Frog's a better person than all of us. So
that's true. Frog might be an all-time great character. Period. I love Frog.
Frog's theme every time it went on, I was like, "Let's go." Frog's theme song.
Fucking hype.
Sit down. Yeah.
See, Frog's theme song's hype, but honestly, I went hard on Robo's.
Dude, Robo's got.
Robo's awesome.
Dude, that thing was great. I started listening to metal versions of that on YouTube. I was like, "This goes hard."
Mm-hmm.
But so actually, speaking of this, what was your guys' final party that you beat the game with?
So my final party, they were all between I think level 52 and 54. I used Chrono, I used Meryl, and I used Luca. Those are my three. I kept it pretty close to the OG lineup. I felt an attachment towards them, and I was like, I started the journey with you girls, I'm going to end it with you girls. Let's fucking get it.
I was Chrono, Marl, and Frog.
Okay. So I had two totally different ones. I had Chrono, I had Robo, and I had what was her name? Ayla, whatever.
Ayla.
Ayla.
Yeah, Ayla. Yeah, I had her.
Yeah, the cave girl.
Did that Thunder Punch with Chrono and her, and then I would kind of heal with Robo, and then also do his final electrocute thing that hurts all the enemies. Oh, it worked really well.
Robo was my 4 slot. I wanted to use Robo so bad, but only being able to, you basically only get to pick 2 characters, because you gotta gotta have Chrono in there, and then you get to pick 2 others. And I was like, man,
have to.
That's true.
I was like, I know you don't have to, but yeah, but it's like
but it feels like he should be there, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was going back and forth between Frog and Robo, which one I wanted in the party more. But I finally decided to go with Frog just because he was cool. But
yeah,
and I love his weird noises he makes for his water spells.
Yeah, and it's I love when he flexes on people when he wins a battle.
Oh yeah, the cartoony ass arm. It was great. Yeah, the
his throat thing. He's making his throat big when he's doing an attack.
I will say though, probably the best party to have visually is Ayla, Frog, and Magus, because then you just have a bunch of people flapping around when you run around the overworld, because none of them walk.
That's funny. Yeah.
So I did that a couple of times.
Frog,
even though I never used Magus, when I had him in my party just to try him out, I was like, oh, he's floating, that's funny, and I just had everyone kind of going in a circle, flapping around, because Ayla's on her 4s.
Magus is cool because he starts with all 3 elemental types as a spell. He hit all enemies with a lightning, fire, ice. So he's useful right from the start.
But he's such a fucking asshole. He doesn't have triple text with everybody because he's the fucking edgy loner that doesn't want to be friends with anybody. I'm like, ah. And that's another part of the reason I didn't use him. When I found out he didn't have any triple text, I'm like, well, that's no fun.
So if you when you got to Magus and how he's like, do you want to fight me? I said no.
Mm-hmm.
But if you said yeah, do you beat him and not get him?
Yeah, you can kill him.
Okay.
And I think that changes Frog's ending. I think Frog turns back into. So if we all played the Steam version, right?
No, I played DS.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the ending cutscene, Frog turns back to human, whatever, right? He's a human in that cutscene. The green hair guy.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's supposed to happen unless you kill Magus. I think that's just in the original version. I think that's the ending. If you kill Magus, you get Frog back to human. Yeah. Is the trade-off. But I think in this version, you just get the cutscene anyway. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I
if,
read online. It might not be real.
I saw it too. If you have Frog in your party and you do choose to fight Magus, it's a 1-on-1, which is kind of cool. Like he's like, "Let me
That is
face
cool.
him," and I'm like, "You're such a
Yeah.
badass Frog. Why are you so cool?"
I love that his name's just Frog. Also,
In the robots Robo, I'm just like, man,
yep.
Yeah.
that's all they
That
need.
one quest with Robo when like he builds the forest or whatever, you know, you just go 400
Builds
years
the
forward.
what,
It's
sorry?
like, you know, where he you like drop him off with Fiona, I think her name was. to
Oh
build the
yeah, yeah,
forest.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then you know you just fast forward 400 years, and then you go back, and he's just like there on a pedestal, and you like pull him off, comes back on. He's like, "It may have seemed like so soon for you, but it was 400 years for me. I've seen a lot."
You know, I'm so sad because that was the one side quest that I didn't do, and I'm like, man, that was a really good one. I didn't realize I missed out on some good shit, so I ended up watching it just because I wanted to have the context before we did the show. But yeah, that was a very good one for him and Luca. I wish I would have done that one. I didn't realize because you know when I saw it was Fiona's side quest, I was like, she's not my party. I don't fucking care about her. So I just didn't even acknowledge it. I was like, I'll do all the ones for the party characters because I care about them. But missed out on a real good side quest there.
The way it deals with like leaving Robo in the past and going back to the future, and he's you get him again. This game I really liked. Like it might be overdone nowadays, like time travel and like time travel ideas for video games and movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this one, for being 30 years ago, kind of before, maybe not before time travel was a topic, but like before a lot, like Avengers Endgame, made it like every movie has to have multiverse and time travel now. I feel like they did a really good job of like some like meaningful like interplay between the times, like going back and doing things here and changing it for a side quest in the future. And I thought it was really well done the way the time travel worked in this game.
Yeah, even like I don't know if you guys know. Did you ever upgrade any chests from the past and then open them in the future?
No, I found out about that after I
That was a
opened them.
super
It
cool
pissed me off.
mechanic. Did you know about that,
Yeah,
Tyler?
Wait. Explain this.
So if there was chests, that you had to have the pendant to unlock
black
them.
chest.
Yeah, the black chest. If you used the pendant on them in the past and didn't open them, but then went like into the future and opened them in the future, it would be upgraded equipment in there instead.
Oh.
So
And
there's
you
a
can
lot of
also
cool
go
little
back in
things
the
like
past
that.
and get you go back in the past and get
And then-
the worst version also.
Yeah, so then you get 2 items out of 1 chest. It's really cool.
But if you open it in the past, it doesn't stay for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of-
I was reading a guide like finding all of them, and it's like this one, this one, this one, this one. Then at the bottom, it's like be sure to click no on opening them and go back and get them in the future. I'm like, why didn't you say it at the beginning? Like I just opened all of them, and then it's like make sure not to open them in the past, open them in the future. I was like, God damn it! Like,
yeah, by the way.
what the hell?
That one side quest with Luca, I think it was, where like her mom was about to lose her legs. Remember what I'm talking
Yep.
about? So the first time I totally forgot what her name was, and I was like, shit. I was like, and I couldn't get it. And then like it happened, and then like I read the notes, and they were like different because it was like, oh, I could have saved her. I don't want to do technology anymore. Yada yada. Then you go back, and Robo's like, I'll give her my legs. And but then I was like, no, I gotta reload the save real quick, and I did that, and I saved her, and I was like, all right, now she's good.
There you go. I will say, very generous on the save points of the game for the most part. Like, they're very nice to, like, not screw you out of an hour, 2 hours of progress like some of the older JRPGs are, so that's kind of nice, too. The only big stretch I felt like was a little tough was when you go to fight the queen at the end of the Black Omen. That's a pretty long stretch up until you can save again, so...
Yeah.
But it's not too difficult, so I guess it's still kind of balanced in that way, so... But Tyler, it sounds like you were one-shotting everybody because of your build, so...
Dude, I was going hard. I was like level 60. I had the max equipment on everybody. Had like all 3 of the what were they, like prism helms or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
rainbow sword on Chrono, and man, it was pretty good. I got to the final boss, and I was like, this is a joke.
Nah, I still had to try.
Yeah.
I ran into that one thing in the last. It was the final boss is one of those like you must kill all of them at the same time kind of things, or like, or at least really quickly, or they revive each other.
Mm-hmm.
I got in that loop a couple times where I kept killing 1 or 2 of them and I couldn't get the third. So it took me a long time, but I did finish it in the first like go round.
Yeah.
But I also had like 15 or 20 mega elixirs at that point, and I was just spamming mega elixirs.
Mhm.
Like so, I couldn't die. But,
Dude, friggin', I remember it all started like from when I got OP with the I didn't find the gold stud though. I don't know where that was.
I don't
I
even
didn't
know
look
how
up
I
where it
came
was,
across it. I can't remember. I just had it in my inventory, and I was like, "Oh, this is super useful."
I had the silver one, so I was using that on Chrono. But like, because I remember I got to Dark Gaia, I think it was, and then I just got like obliterated, and I was like, "The hell?" Right? So that's when I was like, "All right, I'm gonna just grind these people up." Because that one like rock guy who he puts your evasiveness like down or whatever,
Hmm.
and then if you manage to kill him, you get like 100 TP every time you kill him, and you can just keep going up and down and go fight him, and up and down and go fight him. So I did that a whole lot, and I pretty much had all my final moves like pretty much right then and there. So yeah, that Luminaire or whatever it is for Chrono,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty damn
He's
good.
there
Yeah.
and shoots like a soul bomb. What's it called from Dragon Ball? It's not soul bomb.
Spirit Bomb.
Hmm.
Spirit bomb. He goes, holds his hand up there and just blows everyone up.
That and the Frenzy were pretty good too. You just like
Frenzy was very good.
four times, just doing like 450 each hit.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yep.
The I really liked the big boss sprites too, where you could really see like Akira Toriyama's art style, like in the big black Tyranno and what was it, like Giga Gaia or whatever, that weird one that had like the two hands that you had to destroy. Like those look so cool. I loved seeing that.
Did y'all fight the Rust Tyranno?
The Rust, is that the one when you're going to get the rainbow shell?
I think so. Yeah. So like Tal, you did fight it. Yeah. So that's the Black Tyranno, and then like it falls to the ground, and then like sits there for 65 million years and rusts, and then you fight it again. Like it's the same like thing.
Oh, that makes sense because you're in the Dino Cavern when you fight it. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's been rusting for 65 million years, and then you fight it again.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How
do you feel about the bosses in general? Like I thought the bosses were a good mix of like straightforward bosses, and then like maybe half of them had like a little gimmick you had to
like figure out their weakness. Yeah,
whether it was a weakness or how to not spur a counter attack, because some of them had pretty ruthless like counters if you hit them in the wrong way.
That one near the beginning where like when he was like blocking, you couldn't hit him because then he would just counter you and obliterate you. Like
yep. So you really had to learn the bosses, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I said, the generous save states made it not too bad. For the most part, it was like, if you did something where if you use a spell on them, you got a counter, and you had all three of your characters do a spell all at once, you're like, oh fuck, it's over.
I'm dead.
This is it. Yeah. I had that happen a few times, and I was like, oh well.
Was there either I'm really bad, had bad RNG, or there was a trick to it when you were going for the Sunstone and you had to choose the right like fire one to hit? Was there a way to tell which one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, dude, I was getting them incorrect for the longest time. I was like, can you just hit the right one?
So, talking about great RNG, though, the flame was the same every time for me after it rotated.
Nice.
No way. Dude, I was like...
what are the chances of this?
So much. And I'll be like,
I just want to bring this back up. We talked about the side quests. I really like the Sunstone quest. Mm-hmm. My favorite part was when you had to bring the Sunstone and put it in the Sun Temple and let it like sit there for. Robo's like, I estimate it'll take a little over 65 million years. You're like, oh, I wonder what that means. So you go put it in the past, and then like you let it cook for, you keep traveling forward, and eventually someone steals it, and it's the mayor in the present day, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have your stone. I didn't do anything. So then you go back to the past and you give his like ancestor like free food. Yeah, for free. And she's like, I'm gonna raise my children to be nice and respectful. And then care for others. Then you go back to the present, and the mayor's like, "Oh yeah, I've got it right here. I'm such a nice guy now."
Never the family's like, "Dad's too generous. He gives everything away."
Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was like another good moment where like your actions in one thing affect the future.
Yeah, I think that they handled all that stuff super duper well. It was insane how they pretty much took into account for a little bit of everything in that way, which is really cool. Going to different buildings and chests missing or being there, or like you're saying, like the Black Tyranno being in the cave under after all those years. They really did think of a little bit of everything. Which makes it even funnier when you have moments where it's like, you have Magus in your party and you talk to a guard and he's like, good job killing Magus, guys. That happened to me.
Yeah.
Or he was like, he said like, good job killing Magus, and I was like, he's in my party. He's literally with us.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool reveal though that Magus was the kid
Mm-hmm.
from the
Yeah.
the Antiquity era.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool reveal. But
And how Isla and whatever the other one were like past ancestors of
yeah,
Yeah, the family tree just keeps going.
of Morrow.
Blanco.
Yeah. All those
Morrow.
people somehow were all the same for 65 million years. They
Oh, you're
had
my
tracking of
ancestor.
that.
Like,
Did you guys enjoy the high sex drive Isla joke? That made me laugh really hard at the end.
Oh,
When they're
yeah,
going into
Isla
the
always-
portal, and he's like, "Yeah, she got a lot of energy. You don't got to worry about us having kids."
Yeah, yeah. The
I
ending
was like,
cutscene
"This
with
is
her
rated K to A."
the end cutscene with her is her putting a wedding ring on the other guy and then handing him a ring and then putting her hand there. It's like,
yeah, it's just like, do it.
yeah.
She was a great character. They're all great. I really do love all these characters so much. One of the best casts for sure in an RPG.
Yeah, I mean, what other game can you see a frog cut a mountain in half?
It was like,
It's about as peak as it gets.
Yep.
And I also love that because I don't know about you guys. For the most part, I didn't realize how much I didn't know about this game, and I didn't know that Lavos was like a cosmic horror. And I thought that was a really cool and interesting idea too.
Oh, like outside of Chrono Trigger, like that's a real like an
No, just like
like lava.
no, just that Lavos is just like what he is, like this like terrifying like weird looking alien that looks like
Sure.
disgusting.
Okay, I thought you were saying like Lavos is like a thing that is in other
No.
media. Or okay,
No.
okay.
But yeah, just in general, you
Yeah.
know, like I didn't know almost anything about Chrono Trigger except for like the main characters that had to do time travel. But I didn't know you were getting like I said, like these Lovecraftian monsters that are coming to suck the DNA out of Earth. I was like, this is pretty wild, actually.
so while we're talking about like this, Zach, what was the other ending you got? Did you just go try to fight him right away and die?
Oh yeah, I was just joking. Like I went to go fight Lavos at the like once you have because you can go fight him like
Right
right
away,
at the beginning,
basically.
like not like pretty early in the game. You can go try to fight the last boss, and then you lose, and the world ends.
Isn't it like
that's just all.
right when you first hit the end of time and then you go to
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
hut?
Yeah, you can just immediately go fight Lavos, and I did, and then I died, and then the world ended.
And there's another ending if you do that and don't die, though. So,
Yeah, that's pretty badass if you pull that off. But,
well, yeah. I mean, you can't do it. It's impossible first try, but with New Game Plus, everything carries over your levels, your
good point,
equipment,
good
and
point.
all that. So it's like you can go and fight them right away and get a totally different ending, and you get what's called like the Dream Team ending, where like it's like the developers room and all the sprites are named after people that worked
Oh.
on the game, and there's a secret room that has like Akira Toriyama and Yuji Horii and all them like in there, and you can go talk to all of them.
that's really cool because spoilers for another game, real quick. Sea of Stars is very inspired by Chrono Trigger, and if you get the best ending for that, you get a developer room like
That must
you
be
get
why
touring
they
with
did that.
them,
Yeah.
too.
There's
Yeah,
also
I
a
didn't
cameo
realize
from
that.
Gerard the Completionist.
Yeah, got a couple of those screenshots. Anyway, but yeah, what was I gonna say? I drew a blank.
Sorry.
Leave me here. So no, I drew. I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, continue on. So, I don't know. I've lost
Gerard stole his memory.
it. Gerard stole my memory.
He completed your thought for you.
Yeah.
Zach's memory completed.
Yeah, so there's obviously a ton of endings in this game. I think I'll go back and play eventually to see a couple of them for myself, but I will admit I did cheat and I went and watched the rest on YouTube just because I wanted to see them all. I don't know if you
What
guys
was
did.
some of the like
It tells
because I
you
seen
13. How do you do it?
yeah
Which
on
one?
Steam like. Well, I was just gonna say, like on Steam, like all the achievements are literally just based on
just the
endings.
endings.
Like
Mhm.
there's 13 achievements, and I was like, "Dang, I'm not getting any achievements." I got one, and I was just like, "Oh." So like, what are
the
some
variations?
of the? Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
there's
Craig, you watched it.
bunch of
Talk
different
about it.
variations. Like, there's ones depending on if you don't ever resurrect Chrono, because you don't have to. You could technically beat the game without ever saving him. There's ones where if you don't save him and you destroy the Epoch Epic, I don't know how you say it. I've heard it said
It's
a million
Epoch.
different ways too. The Epoch, yeah. So I've seen people destroy that as well, and then that gives you a different ending. There's an ending where if you don't ever kill, I think his name's Alex, like the king of the reptile people, if you don't kill him, then you wake up and everybody is a reptile because their race never went away and everyone becomes dinosaurs, which is really funny. There's a bunch of weird endings like that. There's an ending where if you don't save Chrono, I think it's like if you don't save Chrono and you do kill Magus, it's like very specific, but it's like everyone ends up back in the from the time portal, and Frog is a human again, and the girls are like crushing on Frog. They're like, he's so handsome. There's like a bunch of different endings. There's one where it's called like Memory Lane, where it's like if you beat the game, I don't remember the specifics, but it's like one of those joke things where it has a bunch of random NPCs and they're like, oh yeah, remember this guy? And it's like someone that's not relevant at all to the story. And it gets to the point where it shows like the 6th or 7th like no-name NPC character, and then Chrono comes on screen and actually talks the only time he does in the game, and he's like, this is what you guys call Memory Lane. It's really funny. So there's a bunch of like really funny, interesting little ones.
There was one. I'm gonna keep talking. There was one achievement that I was like wondering which one it was associated to. I'm gonna go check it out real quick.
Yeah, there's one where if you don't ever go back and kill Magus, Frog goes back and fights him himself in like the haunted house manor thing, which is really cool. Like it's an ending where he goes to face him himself. So there's a bunch of different little interesting ones. I don't know if it's really worth going through the effort to see them all, but I think it's cool that they had so many different variations of what can happen and what you can see. So,
do you know which one? It just says "Good Night." I don't know which one that is.
Good
Night. It has that like big blue guy just like sleeping.
I don't know. I watched them all yesterday. You know, for the most part, there was like an 1.5 hour long video on YouTube, and I was kind of skipping through because a lot of them are similar, but like just kind of variations and stuff. So. But yeah. Just the approach to the final boss, I love how there's a million different ways you can do it. You could skip the whole like larva phase if you just go to T99 AD and you can blast through him and you break through the shell. But then it destroys the ship, so that gives you a different ending because you don't have the ship anymore.
Isn't there an ending also like if you beat him without a full party?
I don't know.
I think I read.
Maybe.
It says Reunion, the Dream Project, Successor of Guardia, Goodnight, the Legendary Hero, the Unknown Past, People of the Times, the Oath, Dino Age, What the Prophet Seeks, Memory Lane, and Dreams Epilogue.
I don't know, but I appreciate all the variations and different things. I think it's crazy that you could beat the game without ever resurrecting Chrono, too. I think that's so cool that they did that. Like, that's technically a side quest is insane.
Yeah. I was going to say, resurrecting Chrono side quest is so goofy. You go get a doll of him, and you go back in time and like switch him real quick, and like get the hell out of there.
That might be the only part of the story that I thought was kind of dumb. Everything else I thought was pretty great, but I was like, this is goofy.
Yeah, like you're putting a doll of him in the same position. It's like, why'd you have to replace with a doll? Why couldn't you just like take him? If we're already like doing this, like
what's the difference?
Real quick, the one Robo side quest where you have to like go like fight the Mother Brain or whatever. I was getting so frustrated because I had no idea what to do.
Oh, I had to look that up. That dungeon was really obtuse.
Like I was like, these doors aren't opening. What's going on? Like I finally see the one, and he like went in there, got charged up, and then went to the thing. I was like, oh, okay.
Mother Brain looks sick as fuck though. That was a really cool design, like the like weird shimmery kind of rainbow.
Yep.
Also an extraordinarily easy boss though.
Yeah, that thing went down pretty quick.
Especially for that part of the game, yeah.
Yeah, I think the balancing of the side quests was a little iffy just because you could do them in any order, but they wanted you to be able to complete them in any order, so it made a lot of them feel super easy. But I don't know if that's really a problem. I like that, you got rewarded for kind of just like good... you got really good rewards for side quests, not just like, some experience, some gold. Like, you got like a really good equipment for everybody, so it was a worthwhile reward.
And that one Robo, when you were finding like chests with like 50,000 gold and stuff, and I was just
I had so much money by the end of the game. I bought like 99 like of everything that I could in the shops before the final boss just to get it.
I was gonna say, you're talking about the side quests. I think my favorite part in all, like every old Square RPG I play, like Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Chrono Trigger, the part where you get to the end game, it's like, okay, you can go fight the final boss, or you can fly around the world map at will and just go do a bunch of side quests and get a bunch of upgrades. It's always so fun. And I was happy to see that this game had another one of those moments where you get the ship and you can go through all the time, and it's just like, go fight the boss or become busted as hell. And I love that.
And none of it felt like fluff either. It all felt really well thought out, really well designed.
Yeah, they're all character like development, so it was real good.
I definitely felt like one of the only issues I had, and maybe it could be different with the setup on Steam, was I felt like sometimes I was getting my ass whooped with the ATB system just because I couldn't get to the spells I wanted to in time, because I had to scroll through so much. Like, you have so many abilities by the end of the game, and I'd be like, oh, what am I looking for? And I know that's kind of the nature of ATB, but I think this game kind of reminded me that I prefer more traditional turn-based over ATB.
I was going to say, I was reading a guide. I think there's a wait mode where you can...
I don't know if it's
there is. I just feel like the game wasn't really designed around it. That's why I didn't want to turn it on.
Yeah, it's not. But yeah, you could turn wait on, and then when someone's bar fills up, you can take your time to fill out the... But I kind of liked the hectic nature of it because it made it feel a little different. Mm-hmm. Even though it did get to that point where you're... And I would like misclick. I'd heal somebody with full health sometimes. That would piss me off.
It's the worst.
But, yeah. Because sometimes the arrows are like unintuitive. Like you hit right, and it's like
go to the left,
and then go. Yeah. It's like what? So yeah.
But that is one of the nice things about the DS's touchscreen. So it's like I hit it, and then I could like click on Luca, or I could click on Robo or whoever. So when it came to like doing stuff to your own party, that made it easy. But when you're fighting, 5 of the same enemy, they all have the same name. I'm like,
Yeah.
Tyler, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. So when I was like comparing myself, I gotta say I appreciate the Steam and probably the DS version. I would assume is the same way. So when I looked up a long play to see like how far I was, since had a long way to go yesterday, and then I see the whole menu setup for the Super Nintendo version, and man, that thing just looks atrocious.
It's pretty all lined up. It's pretty squished. Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I kind of ended up getting the Steam version because.
Yeah, it's it seems like Steam is probably the way to go for the most part, but I really enjoyed the DS version as well. I just like having 2 screens, being able to have the map on the bottom at all times and stuff like that. And it was nice, in terms of like picking spells or items and stuff like that. The top screen is all the real estate's battle, and then everything else is on the bottom. So I the 2 screen factor is always going to be good for RPGs in general. The DS and 3DS are absolute peak for that.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the fact that this game, like, isn't that long makes me actually want to, like, go back and do some of the other endings.
Especially because you can get through it so easy since you carry your level over.
Yeah.
It's like I started up a New Game Plus just because, once I was done yesterday. And, I go to the festival, and, you go to fight Luca's robot, and you just hit it and you one-shot it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm way stronger now.
Were y'all ever able to beat, or do you know if you can beat, the training monster in the End of Time that like teaches you magic? Can you beat that guy?
I'm pretty sure you can, because I think you get rewards every time you do.
Because he would always just do like a bunch of damage. I was like, I'm not supposed to be able to beat this guy. So I never really gave it an earnest try.
Oh no, I beat him at least the first time. I never went back, but every time you go back, I think he gives you like magic capsules or something for each time you beat him.
Oh, okay.
So you can help level up your magic. But yeah, I only fought him the first time because I only went back once I got the new characters. Because I was like, oh, Robo can't learn magic. Oh, Isla can't learn magic. But
that was a funny thing with Isla. They're like, oh yeah, magic wasn't invented when you so you can't learn this.
So
it's like, well, what does that matter? Like
it's not a tangible thing.
Yeah, you taught someone else how to use magic. Why can't you teach her how to use magic?
It's so funny. This game does have a pretty good sense of humor too. I don't hear people talk about it a lot, but this game has some pretty funny moments. Some really good writing.
Yep, I enjoyed it.
I remember oh, go ahead.
My one friend, he had no idea what Chrono Trigger was, and so I was playing it on Steam, and I started like a share screen because we were talking on Discord, and he was watching. He was like, "Wow, this looks a lot like Dragon Ball," and I was just like, "Well, Kira Toriyama, that's why." Then he was like, "Oh, all right." So
yeah, I was waiting for Chrono to go like Super Saiyan at some point in the game.
Yeah, but I don't know. Akira Toriyama, his art style is just so timeless, and it's so good. It works for everything. Even if a lot of the characters end up looking similar, I'm like, I don't care. It's just his art style is such a vibe. I'm always going to be okay with it.
I was playing a little bit of Dragon Quest 3 while playing this, just to like see different versions of the same idea, and they're both they both look great. I didn't get tired of it.
And speaking, go ahead.
We also beat this a little after the 30th anniversary.
That's true, we did.
30th
I
anniversary.
I was gonna say, so you were saying talk about playing for different endings. What a fantastic length this game was. I think my final time was like 23 hours. I'm like, that was perfect.
Yeah, it was around mine.
Doesn't
It says
overstay its
27.
welcome.
There's some hours I just left it on, so.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. It really does handle, like, set itself up to be replayed with the different endings, and the fact that New Game Plus carries so much over to make it easy to get those endings and not waste too much time grinding yourself back up. It's great.
Yeah, the story's always moving. There's like rarely like a dead period where like you're like what bored, nothing's happening. It's like always something's happening and pushing you to the next plot line.
Yeah, no filler. Something I wrote, and I don't know if you guys will agree. I was like, the game is very story heavy, right? But I feel like it's not dialogue heavy, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of story, and there's always something going on, but you're never being bogged down with exposition. It's always to the point. Character says something important or witty or funny or cool, and then you just keep rolling. Like, it never takes up too much of your time, and I was like, it's interesting how they were able to balance that. And I almost wonder if it's the combination of Hironobu Sakaguchi and Yuji Horii, these big epic stories of Final Fantasy, and then the simplicity of Dragon Quest. I wonder if like that meshed together kind of like led to that very straightforward but well developed narrative.
It's good. That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was something I was thinking about last night. I was like, I wonder if that balance is kind of like what made it so good. And it's a shame that, as far as I know, they never worked on anything together again. So
they just made Peak, and they just like, yeah, we're good.
They're like, we can't fucking top this. Give Chrono Cross to some other chump.
I was gonna ask, I don't know anything about Chrono Cross. I guess my only understanding is it's not like a true sequel in the way that like it's not Chrono Trigger 2. It's just like
a spiritual successor type thing.
So is it like even like same world, same ideas, or is it literally just a whole different thing?
I'm not totally sure on that aspect. All I heard was that it's a spiritual successor, but then I also heard like very mixed things. Some people love it, and then others just hate it. Like I never hear a middle.
Yeah, this is definitely a love it or hate it game for sure. I know that it has like 30 or 40 party members, something ridiculous like that too. So, and I'm not always. I'm not big on massive casts like that in JRPGs. Like once you start getting past like 10, I'm like, you're asking a bit much of me to even remember who all these fucking people are.
Oh, just like the two main people on the cover. Shit.
We already talked about in this video, for this game,
mm-hmm.
like the 7 characters we had, we were already struggling to see who we wanted in the party.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine having like 30 people. It's like, well, screw, I'm not going to learn half of you like at all.
Yeah. I know, because that is another thing about this game in terms of replayability. Imagine just, cycling out, try different team builds every time, all the different stuff you can do. Really cool idea. What else did I write down in my notes? I said that I'm not sure I agree that the game requires no grinding. Everyone says that this is a grind-free RPG. I definitely felt like there was times where I had to beat myself up a bit. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but...
Dude, when I started the Giga Gaia, whatever it was called,
mm-hmm.
when it was just whooping my ass, when I was like, all right, I'll grind here, but that's the only time I had to grind because I went a little hard. But
yeah,
I think it depends. If you are fighting like every battle and doing every like optional thing along the way, it really just depends. Because I think you mentioned it on Discord, Craig. This game's not so much dependent on like your level of your characters. It's more dependent on like your equipment and like your abilities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just like have the right weapons and like have good spells for where you're at, it's not too bad. But there were a couple times, like I can't remember what boss it was, but it was before I had Luminaire on Chrono and I was struggling, and then I grinded for like 15 minutes, got Luminaire, went in there, and just started nuking people, and I won.
Yeah,
it's kind of depends on like what you're going in the fight with.
Yeah, before I fought Magus, I went up and down the stairs grinding bats for like a solid half an hour and beat myself up.
I did that.
That was a great grind spot. So
now, what was Magus's gimmick again? Because I don't remember.
He was only weak to the element that he just used. So it's like you'd use fire on him, and he'd be like, "Oh, go fuck yourself," and then he'd use water on you, so you'd have to use water on him until he changed to like another spell.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like if you went to that fight with Frog and Meryl, you were kind of fucked because it was just 2 water, so you had like one element missing. But that's the only time in the game where I felt like you were disencouraged from using a certain party setup. Every other fight in the game, I feel like you could get away with any setup for the most part.
One fight that took a little bit for me was because I had, Robo Isla, and Chrono. So like Chrono's the only one that had magic. That one fight, back in like the prehistoric times when it's like the red dinosaur and the blue dinosaur, and like you're supposed to use like fire magic and then water magic on them or something like that, or ice.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
because I was doing no damage to them, and I was like, this is gonna take forever.
There were a couple instances in this game that confused me. Like intuitively, like through all my years of playing Pokemon, when I see like a red thing, I'm like, oh, I use water magic to hurt you. And I see a blue thing, I'm like, oh, I use, but like it's like, oh no, you want to use the color magic that thing is. Because there's a couple of like the bat enemies in the end game. They're like red, blue, and yellow.
Oh, they'd fuck you
like,
up.
Oh, they would fuck you up, but I'd be like, oh, the yellow one, clearly I don't want to use electric on it because it's resistant to it. It's like, oh no, you only want to use electric on it because
otherwise
it
it'll
absorbs
kill
everything
you.
else. Yeah, it's like, okay, so it's a little bit of like game design that like I guess has changed since 1995. Like it's like I don't know. Pokemon fucked me over is what I'm saying.
That's funny. One thing that I thought was interesting, I'm not sure if you guys noticed this. So when you guys got captured and put on the plane, it was called the Black Hawk, right? Am I remembering that?
Mm-hmm.
So when you were on that, who's your guys' party? Do you remember?
Marl, Frog, and Luca?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was Robo, Frog, and Marl. I can't remember.
I had Isla, Frog, and Robo.
So, Zach, when you were on that, if you got caught by an enemy, did you just get a game over?
No, they threw me back in the cell.
Okay, so if you had Isla in your party because she doesn't need to equip a weapon, you're still able to fight with her, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
so
and I was like,
I
I
was
was thinking about that. I was like, oh, the other people can't fight because they don't have weapons, but she doesn't need one. I was like, I wonder if I made this way easier for myself on accident by having her in my party.
Oh. So I was wondering why I couldn't fight with the other two enemy or the other two people.
Yeah, because she doesn't have a weapon. She's all about the fists, baby. So I thought that was a cool little note too. Let's see. I noted that I thought it was a little easy to get lost, but maybe I'm just stupid and I'm spoiled by modern RPGs.
I feel like in the beginning there was a lot of that, like not knowing where to go. But then I feel like as you got like farther into like later on, it wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was a little more heavy-handed the second half of the game when you had the ship, and it's like, I wonder what's happening in the past right now, and then you go in there and it's pretty obvious. But yeah, the beginning when you're just wandering on foot, there were a couple times where it's like, I got to the bridge and it's like, oh, all of our people are starving, so I had to like go to the castle, and the cook's like, I can't give you any food, and I was like, okay, well, I guess the cook's not going to help, and then like I just had to like talk to the right people, and if you talk to like everybody, you can kind of piece together stuff where to go. But I agree, the first half of the game is a little easier to get turned around and lost. But.
Yeah, and the main reason I made a note of that was just because this is another one of those things, you look up online, people praise this game for no grinding. They also praise this game that they're like, oh, you play it without a guide. You don't need a guide. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
I think it depends on like if you really are just taking your time with it, talking to everybody and going slow, you could eventually piece it out. But yeah, there are some spots that aren't as clear as they need to be.
Mm-hmm. I also made note that I love those weird pseudo 3D battle effects that would happen sometimes, like the rocks flying into screen and like the weird like prism effects with the 3-tier text and stuff. I thought those were super cool. Didn't see a lot of them, but whenever they're on screen, they were like, whoa. Like,
how about cool using Isla? You'd use Dino Tail if y'all did that at all, and she'd just get on all fours, stick her ass up, and you have a giant fucking dinosaur tail come down at the top of the screen.
I guess I didn't use that. I think I watched that. I think I watched that.
Dude, she's like, all right, gets on all fours, sticks her ass up like she's about to start twerking, and then this giant dinosaur fucking tail just comes down from the top and goes back and forth. It goes back up. But then it's kind of cool because like if they're already like weak or damaged, it does like massive amount more of damage. So like you'd be doing like 3K to them with that. Like if you said
that's crazy.
Y'all use Frog's last attack that was called like Mega Frog or Mega Toad or something like that, where he just summons a giant frog to stomp on everybody.
But it's so weird because the frog is like a totally different art style than the rest of the game. Like, it looks like it doesn't fit.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's super goofy. And And then my other note, I said saying goodbye to everybody was great /sad /hilarious. I know we talked about saying goodbye to Isla, but when you're saying goodbye to Robo and they're like, oh, you might not exist in the future because your future isn't there anymore, that made me really sad. And I was like, he better fucking be there. I was like, he better be there. And then he was there, so that made me happy. But
my favorite goodbye was Magus. So they're like, "Hey, are you gonna do this?" And he just leaves, doesn't say anything.
I'm telling you, I lied a little bit. He's the one character where I'm just like, fuck you. I didn't like him that much.
Yeah, I mean, he's an optional, like,
sure,
just like a.
I'm telling you, Frog forgave him. I did not. I never used him in battle, not a single time.
Also, we didn't talk about Frog's sword at all. It's like Frog has like this like legendary blade. The
made
Massa
of 2 children.
Mune, made of 2. The Massa and Mune who like fused together.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I also think it's funny that so this game predates Final Fantasy VII, but if you Google Massa Mune now, it's just Sephiroth's sword. That's all you ever get.
That's funny.
But this is actually it predates that, which is
That's
interesting
funny
to think about.
I didn't even make that connection. You're right. And I also love, I love when games kind of like do story bits by like showing you stuff opposed to like telling you. Like when you first had to, when they first summoned Lavos and he just like one-shots your party, you could fight him, but it's so impossibly hard to win that unless you're like on New Game +3 probably at that point, and you just like everyone dies. Oh, go ahead.
Is it? It's gonna keep on like doing it. Is it that giant frog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Yeah, I love when you fight Lavos for the first time and you just one-shot your party and everyone dies. I love like when you get told narrative through gameplay. I don't know if I talked about it in the show or not, but my favorite example of that, and it reminded me of it, is when you play the original Final Fantasy VII and you it's like a flashback when you're traveling with Sephiroth, and you get to play Sephiroth, and you just one-shot everybody, and you're like, oh shit! Like I think
the dragons in half.
That is one of the coolest things like in a video game ever. I think when it's like because the whole game they're talking about, oh Sephiroth, this is so powerful, no one could beat him, and then you play as him and you one-shot everybody. You're like, oh, he really is him.
Yeah.
He's 100% Himalayan, that Sephiroth. And then the last couple of notes I had on things I liked about the game was, not really a like, but just kind of a comment, was I thought it was funny that you could move around while there's dialogue boxes, people talking to you. That always tripped me out, that I could just walk away. I always threw myself off.
It confused me a couple times. I was like spamming through stuff, and then I would like walk away, and they're still talking. I'm done. Sorry.
And then I also love, just the fact that when you go to fight somebody, fight an enemy, it doesn't cut away to a different screen. You just fight exactly where you are. That never stopped being cool to me. I always thought that was really sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny when it was a boss and you walk in, they're like, okay, let's all run equally spread out the screen real quick so we get in our formation.
In position.
In position.
But yeah. So, that's all the stuff I liked about Chrono Trigger. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to mention.
I think as far as that things I liked and disliked, I've already covered it. I guess my big question is like, why do you think this game isn't re-released on anything? Like, what's going on?
I really think it is just Square Enix's like break glass in case of emergency. Like they know if they just release it on Switch and they're having a bad financial year, that's like an easy 5 million units sold.
They did like say something for the 30th anniversary, like, oh, Chrono Trigger stuff is coming, but like it could be something as easy as just merch. Like you don't know. Yeah. But like, so I have a question. Would you prefer a remake, or would you prefer a direct sequel to where, like, I don't know, you go back and find the party members, something else happens?
When you say remake, do you mean like a spruced up version of the same game, or like a third-person over-the-shoulder like action game or something?
Okay, not like that. Not like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that. But...
Let's say a remake, kind of like the Dragon Quest games are getting. Would you prefer a remake or a sequel?
I prefer a sequel. But, like, can I have both? Can you, like, give me one to play while they make the new one?
If you had to choose one.
I would prefer a sequel. I would prefer another game. But or maybe not. I don't even know, because the game ends pretty nicely, too. So it's like, would I want another game?
Yeah, that's how I feel. I say neither. I'm like, it's perfect the way it is. You don't need to remake it. You don't need a sequel. Not everything needs a sequel. It's a perfect one and done solid condensed story. Doesn't need any more. Doesn't need any less. It just needs to be more accessible.
Yeah, if you just clean it up a little bit, put it on modern platforms.
That'd be neat if, like, they did that, gave it like the HD 2D treatment or something like that, or
I don't even want that. I think this game is pixel art perfection. No.
Yeah.
Don't fucking touch it, Tyler. Don't you dare.
But
I was gonna say,
some new lighting. Some cool lighting would be good.
No, even when you're in the forest and stuff, there's shadows and stuff. It's fine. That's lighting. There's shadows.
Well, you can make it even more shadowy.
No, it looks great. We don't need it.
It's perfect. So, like, if you ramp it up a bit, or if you don't, they'll give Craig the option, like, have the original graphics. It'll be like the Craig option. And then we'll have, like, the newer, spruced up stuff. But then it would be cool, like, even if they just added, like, a couple more endings, since this game's kind of based on endings. Like, I know some of the endings were added for the DS and Steam versions, so, like, not all those endings are in the original Super Nintendo version. I think, like, 2 or 3 of them.
I think I've changed my mind. I think I do want them just to make a 3-part third-person action RPG series, where they just redo the whole thing.
Can I get a Luca FPS?
They bring all the characters to life in a really good visuals, and then they make a 10-year project remaking the RPGs as they should be.
Dude, if they did like merch for this year, dude, I would still buy figures of like the characters, because that'd be badass.
Ooh, that would be cool.
I'd buy all
some great designs.
Or just like a Robo or Frog shirt.
I was gonna say, if you had to pick a favorite character, is yours Frog, Zach?
I think I'm gonna go with Frog.
Tyler, who's your favorite?
Robo.
For me, it's a
Frog
tie between.
Was there.
It's a tie between Frog and Luca. I like them both a lot, but Robo's definitely like a solid third place. I like Robo a lot.
And a lot of them people are gonna be buying that Isla figure if they have one. I'm like, oh yeah, looking like Felicia type stuff,
They love a strong woman. What can we say?
I love that Isla spoke in cave, like, Isla do this, Isla do this, but also still
Chrono no dead. We go get Chrono.
I know, like, how are you all speaking a common language? That doesn't seem accurate.
English was created 65 million years ago.
Easy.
Crazy.
But yeah, in terms of things I dislike about the game, I don't know if I have anything, actually.
Honestly, no.
Like I said, this is not, like, a personal... Like, this wouldn't be, like, obviously, like, Mother 3 will never be dethroned. Like, my top 5 games, I don't think that'll ever change. But I'm like, Chrono Trigger, I'm like, it's definitely somewhere probably in the top 10 now. Because I really can't think of a flaw in this game. I don't know if I can think of a flaw.
Like, the menu system was, like, a little clunky when you got a bunch of spells. Stuff like small stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, overall game
like,
design,
those are, like, nitpicky things, right? Like, I can nitpick, like, but I can't think of a true dislike of the game.
Yeah. It's been good.
I mean, putting Doll Chrono there was a little silly.
What is Chrono Trigger on?
Yeah, that was the one part of the story where I was like, this is goofy. But everything else was pretty fire. Yeah. And getting Doll Chrono is also a little annoying, too. So, because for some reason, my brain is just stupid. And, I have PlayStation and Xbox brain sometimes when I play on a Nintendo controller. I'm just like, where's X, where's Y? And I'll just hit the wrong thing like a dummy still. So...
It's funny, you go to Chrono's house and you go up the stairs and his mom's upstairs and there's like a doll of Chrono there. They're like, "Can we have this to go do something?" And they're like, "Sure, of course.
Why not?"
Like, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, shout out to when you talk to Chrono's mom at the festival at the end of the game, and she's like, "It's really nice you saved the world and all, but it'd be nice if you were home more often to help with chores."
Yeah, and she gets sucked into a portal into the past.
Well, I was laughing so hard because when that happens, obviously they're like cheering because they're like, "Oh, we could go on another adventure." But at first they're like, "Oh no, she went through the portal," and Chrono's just like he's happy that his mom's gone forever. Yes. Like, yes, so long, bitch.
My mom and my pet. Let's go.
And shout out to Chrono. He's a cat guy. We could trust him. Could always trust a cat guy. Well, I guess we have some audience write-ins we could read. Unless we have any more comments on the game we'd like to talk about.
I think we're good. I think we went over everything.
I think so.
I feel like the main topic's longer than everything else.
I feel like this episode's been shorter, but I also don't think we bullshitted as much in the beginning as we usually do. So
no, just about the Minecraft movie. That's about it.
Shout out to the Minecraft movie. All right, I will go first. Tyler, you will read the second one. Zach, you will read the third one. All right. Gotcha. First up from Now I Rock a Teller Suit, he wrote in and said, "The Honorable Teller Suit here. Didn't get to play it yet, but I watched a long play of Zach watching a long play, and it looks like an incredible game."
Would be like a really cool YouTube video to make, like an over-the-shoulder view of me watching a video for 11 hours.
That next year for April Fools, that would be a really good one. Missed our chance this year.
Just get a doll of you and put it there. It'll be fine.
A perfect recreation of you, 1 for 1.
I need to find a short game that's like an hour and a half, and then film me watching a long play of that game, and then post it, and then call it like a long play of a long play. That's a good idea. I like that.
Perfect. All right, Tyler, want to go ahead and read the next one?
All right, X Button Gaming says, "Hey guys, Chris here, Cross Button Gaming. I'm glad to hear you are all playing this and look forward to hearing your thoughts. The first time I played Chrono Trigger was around 2001 on an emulator I had on my computer. I was just really getting into RPGs outside the few I had played. I'll never forget how much Chrono Trigger blew me away. I loved the game so much I bought a card off eBay as soon as I had money back then. The art style, love me some Akira Toriyama. The music, the characters, literally everything about the game was so good, and they did such a good job with giving you a background on each of the characters too. Magus is such a cool bad guy, and the fact that events unfold so you can get him to join your team is such a cool moment. I always loved the team up attacks as well. I remember trying all different combinations to see all the different attacks. This is one of those games I feel like every RPG fan should play once. I agree. It is not my favorite RPG, but I think it is a near-perfect game and such a wonderful experience. It's a game that I really hope they don't try to remake.
Thank you.
The 2D HD art style could work, though. I just don't want them to mess it up. Lastly, Chrono Cross gets a lot of hate, but if you go into it not giving too much thought to it being a sequel to Trigger, but just as part of the same universe, it's really a great game. Also, probably my favorite video game soundtrack. It's so dang good. Anyways, keep up the great work, guys. Always look forward to new episodes and your banter with each other."
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Cross Button Gaming.
We definitely agree with you on pretty much everything that you said. I think, the music is so good. It's funny because I've been listening to the soundtrack of this game for years and years and years before ever even actually playing it. So it's like I recognize most of the songs, but in context, a lot of them so good. Like, I don't know the name of it.
The Forest song was the one that got me. I'd heard that Guardia Forest song so many times.
But every time the like really epic song would play with like the ba na 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 na. Every time it was so fucking hype. I was like, "Let's go!"
That was a really funny moment when the bad guy, Dalton, the bad guy that kept goofing up and like wasn't actually moving. He gets in the ship and it's playing that. He's like, "Oh, wrong song," and he changes the song to like his scary song. That was a really funny moment.
That was really good. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
yeah. The music is unrivaled in this game. It was so good. Zach, want to go ahead and read the next write-in?
Yes, I will. Hello, Jason once again, and what can I say about Chrono Trigger that probably wasn't already said? Now, I didn't play the game when it first came out. I didn't get the chance to play it till the DS version, even though I did have the PS1 version. I really didn't play it because of the horrible load times. Yeah, I can't even imagine having... are the load times between battles? Like,
I don't know.
Like loaded to each battle? Because I'm just thinking about that. It sounds awful if that's how that works. But I'll have to look that up. All right, back to Jason. Really love the story and that great turn-based combat. This was definitely a different style of game for Square, as of course at the time, the Final Fantasy series was big, and most of the games stuck to the medieval fantasy setting where Chrono Trigger has some sci-fi elements to it. Even though this game was not really the first to ever do it, not really the first to do New Game Plus and multi endings, it's always referenced when people ever talk about it. Now with its 30th year anniversary this year, we'll see if Square Enix has any plans for it this year, just as long as it doesn't get that same terrible treatment that the other remake got, but only time will tell. I knew for a fact. It's like easy, low-hanging fruit this time. Like I know it's coming this time.
Easy. I will say, I looked into it. So Chrono Trigger didn't invent New Game Plus, but it invented the term, which is kind of cool. So, like, the term New Game Plus comes from Chrono Trigger.
Kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
The more you know.
When they do make a remake of it, if you had to, so they're gonna eventually this game will come out again. It's gonna happen.
Correct.
Despite your wishes or what you want, what do you like? What is the most likely version this game will get remade in? What do you think?
With how much to do in HD 2D, I just see it like that.
Do you think HD2D is just like the obvious? That's what they're gonna do.
I think that's kind of the default now for a lot of the 16 and 8-bit era. I think that they see it as, I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff also just I don't think translates as well to fully 3D. So probably the HD 2D route.
What if they like make it like Bravely Default chibi like really? I don't know. Just something bad.
Maybe
Makes it really bad.
I think that could be okay too. I mean, I think about so you guys need to look up actually the best way that you could translate this to 3D is you guys will have to do some homework, but if you look up the Dr. Slump game on PS1, that is like an old Akira Toriyama thing, and they made a 3D game for that on the PS1, and his art style works so perfectly in that game. It's like it's translated super well, the way it's textured, the way that they did like kind of like a cel shady kind of thing. It looks great. So look up the Dr. Slump game on PS1. If they were to do like a 3D style Chrono Trigger, I think that's the best way you could do it and make it look good.
It doesn't look bad. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Isn't it pretty cool looking?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that you could get away with that. But other than that, I think if you were to try to do anything more than something like that, I think it would start to look kind of funky.
Craig, I appreciate this because, if you asked 1,000 people how to remake Chrono Trigger, 999 of them would probably say the HD 2D style. And then you're the only person that says the PS1 Dr. Slump look.
Hey, man, that's what I'm good for.
I never even knew this was a freaking game.
Yes, a Japanese exclusive, but does have a fan translation, so I've been meaning to check it out. I've had it downloaded for a long time, and I just haven't played it yet. I have it on one of my little retro handhelds because it just looks really cool.
It's funny, like if they did try to do this, how well would it translate? Because with Akira Toriyama no longer being here, like how well would it get translated?
I don't know. I think people have learned to imitate his art style very well over the years. Obviously, he wasn't programming these characters.
The AI machine can do it.
Huh?
Right? We all just love throwing things in the AI machine. It'll just do it better than he could.
So we got Studio Ghibli. We don't have Akira Toriyama yet, okay?
As soon as AI starts becoming like the norm for game design, that's when I'm out. So
only play games it's like an era pre-AI games.
Yeah, because obviously we have procedural generation and shit like that, and that's different. When you have it make the entire thing, I'm like, that's just gross. Like, did you see when Microsoft posted that video of like, oh yeah, here's AI recreating Quake every frame? I'm like, cool. Didn't you guys lay off like 10,000 employees last year? Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, it's.
I ain't about that.
Yeah,
I am not about that. We are anti-AI, anti-children, and anti-charity on this podcast. Never forget. But most importantly, anti-charity.
Yeah, hard to nail us on a spectrum like where we like. We hate children, we hate charity, we hate AI. What will we hate next?
Do not associate with any of this.
Wow, Tyler,
Also
you're pro AI. Wow.
No, that one. All right, that one. I'm with.
So I would like to take my.
I was gonna say something, but it was gonna sound really bad, so I'm not gonna say it. I'm not racist.
Hold on, Tyler. Zach is saying something very important.
I'd like to say that all of my racist comments about Craig being a racist were all for the show. I have no reason to believe he has any ill will towards others who are different than him.
I don't. I promise I don't.
We're all great dudes. All right.
Are we? Well, I wouldn't push it. I don't know about that.
We don't.
We do hate charity.
We really do hate children. That wasn't a joke.
No.
Anyway, this has been Chrono Trigger.
So, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give us some closing thoughts, Tyler, on Chrono Trigger.
Well, I got something. It's not necessarily Chrono Trigger. Great game. 10 out of 10. I'd say must play. Honestly, like if you're an RPG fan, give it a go. You'll love it. It's short, sweet. It's not gonna take 80 hours. It's gonna take you more like 25. So I'd say give it a whirl. But I gotta say one thing, because Craig mentioned this, and I'm gonna put him on the spot on the episode. Craig mentioned that he was gonna try to get some Generations Behind merch going. How's that looking, Craig?
Oh, I didn't do it. I said I was gonna make some stickers. I thought that'd be fun, something little and simple, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So maybe next episode.
We gotta do like T-shirts or something, dude.
No.
We gotta get our top 10. We gotta get our top 10 shirts out there. We could just set it up on like a Teespring where they do it for you, and then you just.
And we could do our favorite PlayStation 2 games. It's just our 15 different games.
Chrono Trigger's a 3-person party RPG. We could have us like a Chrono Trigger party.
Yeah, we could have AI make us into Akira Toriyama characters. It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. No, we thought about doing some stickers or something fun. Maybe we'll do that. If I get them made, I'll bring it up on the next episode, but not this time. Life has been too busy. I got a lot going on. There's a lot of birthdays in April in my life. Easter, obviously. So, Jesus' birthday. That's not true, but you know. So we'll get there eventually. Zach, final thoughts, closing thoughts on Chrono Trigger.
Tyler kind of nailed it. Great game. Whether or not it's my favorite RPG is not the point. It's just a fundamental RPG that I think any fan of the series should experience at least once.
I agree. Fantastic game. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. Love the art. Love the music. Love the characters. Love the story. It's definitely a must play. Even if you are not a fan of the genre, I think it's a must play. I think that this is a game that could convince you to like the genre if it's not something that you're already into. I think that is that good. So, shout out to Chrono Trigger, one of the all-time greats. If we were to redo our top 5 Super Nintendo games episode, I think that it would definitely be in all of our top 5s now. I think that would probably change, actually.
Trying to think what games
definitely better than Super R-Type.
Super R Type.
I know that was on my list somewhere.
Trying to remember mine. I think it was Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Final Fantasy VI, Earthbound, and Donkey Kong Country 2. That wasn't the order, but I think those were the 5.
Bum, 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 bum.
I got Fire Emblem 4, Mario's, Metroid, Zelda. Whatever the 5th one was.
Zach's would change. You'd throw fucking Picross on there.
That's true.
I would.
Mario Picross would join the league.
Super Mario Picross would be number 1.
So if I'm gonna waste my time with a Picross game, do I do the Super Nintendo one or the Game Boy one?
Play the Game Boy one just to get a feel for it. And the Super Nintendo one, for what little it matters, it is in Japanese only. So you'll have to navigate through a couple extra menus in Japanese only. So
I'll have to brush off my Japanese skills. It's been a while. I took 3 years of Japanese in college, so I know the bare basics. But don't ask me to read any kanji, then I'll fold.
That's about it.
Alright, boys. Next episode, 28, going to be talking about underrated, overrated retro games. Make sure you all write in. If you want to get ahead and play for our next game-specific episode, that's going to be Super Mario 64. So that'll be 3 episodes from now. I know Zach is very excited about that. I think we're going to try to plan to have an episode or a video on Zach's channel as well around the same time. A little friendly debate with another friend of ours.
Oh gosh!
So,
yeah,
we're doing that.
I think so. So
okay.
I think we should try to time it for the same amount of time. That'd be good. So get our boy Bird Dog Gaming involved. As he is a Mario 64 glazer as well, so
glazer.
Not only that, but a Sonic Adventure. Like, I feel like he did love that.
Yeah,
game.
he's a hater.
Yeah, so
my man played Sonic Story. It was like, I'm done.
game. Roll credits.
That's it. No, buddy, you gotta play Big the Cat again.
He had no struggle with that though. Like,
to be fair, it's not that hard. People definitely over exaggerate how difficult the Big the Cat fishing levels are.
And then especially like in the ice cap or whatever it is for Big the Cat, like how it's like hard to find where Froggy even is. Bro, he found him like the first.
We can't spoil all the content here. We gotta.
Shout out to the what sounds like a broken detuned sitar though in all of Big the Cat's music levels. I really enjoy that. Really weird.
Yeah, Big the Cat. Shout out.
Shout out to Big the Cat. Well, that was fun, guys. I'm almost sad that this went shorter, but I think it's hard to talk about a game like this when you feel like everything's already been said and there's not really that much bad to say about it. It's like all we had to say was positive, so good old Chrono Trigger. Now I really want a complete in-box Super Nintendo copy, so I need to start saving for that, because that's going to be at least like $700 probably. Because I need the whole thing. I need me and my posters in there, too. I'm not getting just the manual. I ain't no chump. Comes with some sick posters.
I was like, ooh, I kind of want a DS copy, too. So I was looking last night. I found one that had, like, the reg card, the poster, the manual. It was all complete for $120. I was tempted.
It does seem kind of high, but I think that in terms of playability, more people actually go for... I think people go for the Super Nintendo copy because it's the original, but I think if you plan on actually playing it, most people go for the DS copy now because it has, you know, the two screens, the map, all that fun stuff, so... But I guess that's going to be it. This is a shorter one for us, believe it or not. Zach, what do you have planned for the rest of the day?
The rest of today, golly. I got to start cranking down some of those video games I got to finish before the Switch 2. I think I need to finish Monster Hunter. I'm at the end of Monster Hunter. The end of the first ending of Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to just knock that out. But we'll see.
Tyler, what you got planned for the day?
Editing a video.
Nice.
I don't know. You got me in the mood to play Croc. I might just buy Croc and play Croc, to be honest.
You should. It's great. There it is.
Yeah, there we go. So, I don't know. It's really a shame that there's no platinum. That kind of like upsets me. But
yeah, I was reading online. Apparently, the issue is they didn't like. There's not enough points distributed between the trophy amounts to qualify for a platinum. So, like, say they made all the trophies gold, then it would be enough points. But because there's like not enough trophies or not enough like gold and silver trophies, it's not enough points to qualify for a platinum or something weird like that. So
fucking trophies. How hard is that?
Sounds like a weird rule.
I'm pretty sure you could patch in trophies. That's the thing that I think is weird. So I'm like, they could fix it, but I don't know. Maybe they're anti-achievement. Some people are, so.
Hell yeah, I'm so happy the Switch 2 has no achievements. Let's freaking go.
I am too, because I really do sometimes feel like my my gaming is hindered by the idea of achievements. So it's kind of nice to not have them there sometimes.
I love getting PlayStation trophies, but something I love about Nintendo games is I can just make my own completion criteria.
Yeah, you don't have anyone telling you what to do or what needs to be done.
Yeah, so I was happy for my own well-being that they decided not to do that. But
fair enough. For me today, it's Grandma's birthday, boys. Getting some barbecue with Grandma.
Happy birthday,
yeah.
Craig's Grandma.
Birthday, Grandma.
I think she's 81 or 82, so still kicking, still loving her barbecue. So she's a very, very thin Italian woman, and we always laugh because she's able to out-eat everybody. Like, we'll go out to eat barbecue, and she gets more than everybody else. You know, people get like a half a rack of ribs, and she's like, I'm getting a whole rack of ribs, 2 sides, and we're like, you fucking get it.
Hell yeah, Grandma.
Get it, Grandma.
Baller. Making me look like a chump out there, and I'm the fat one, so. All right, well, this was a fun one, boys. All of you out there, thank you for listening to this show for a whole year. We really appreciate you guys, and hopefully we make it to another year. God willing. We will see you all in 2 weeks. Take care.
Adios.
Explosions.